everybody, and welcome to another season of Learn by Play. We're back here, the Encounter Roleplay crew, and we're very happy to see you guys. It's been a little while, but we're back here today with our second season, and we will be reinventing the realms with you guys here. Let's go into cast and crew first of all. I'll explain a little bit about what the show is, about what we're going to be doing here in a little minute, but let's meet the cast first of all, and let's just a little bit about your characters. We'll go into more detail here in a few seconds, but we have Tall School with us today. Tall School, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Really looking forward to season 2, to be back here again with Learn by Play and seeing what all this reinventing the realms is going to entail and bring about for us. I am playing a celestial warlock who is an Aasimar, and am looking forward to introducing him to all of you all.
Absolutely, absolutely. We also have Sid with us today. Sid, how you doing?
I'm doing super good. I'm so glad to be back. It's been way too long. And I'm playing a half-elf, half-sun elf, if we want to get so specific. And she's a fighter, and her name is Fearin Hulling.
Great stuff. We also have Greg back with us today. Greg, how you doing?
Oh, I am well, living the dream here on Wizards of the Coast, getting ready to do a little Learn by Play, taking the hammer and the chisel to the realms and rebuilding it and recrafting it in your image, Will. It should be glorious. Today, I will be playing Zephyr, the Air Genasi Barbarian. Let's get to it.
Do it. And joining us here for our second season, we have Chelsea. How you doing, Chelsea?
I am doing great. I am absolutely thrilled to be here. I don't even have words, really. So I guess my smile will have to do and my level of excitement. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm playing a male human monk named Rufus Bigby. He's a very large human and has had quite a past as he works towards being a Sun-Soul monk.
Absolutely. Incredible. Well, let's the quick bit about our characters. Let's talk about what Learn by Play is. Some of you guys might be new here. Some of you, of course, might be back from the first season. But my name is Will. I'm a D&D sex icon. And I'm here to help you guys today and with the rest of the series, not only to learn about Dungeons & Dragons, but specifically for this campaign, to learn about running homebrew campaigns. Campaigns that you've written yourself and you've come up with ideas all of your own. Because last season we played through the Tomb of Annihilation, and I talked about converting that a little bit, taking your own spin on it. But today we're talking about world building, and throughout the rest of the series we're going to be talking about how to create your own world and indeed reinvent another world. So we decided to take the basis of the Forgotten Realms that a lot of people are familiar with, and each episode change a little bit of it and add in our own secret sauce into the recipe, if you will. So we'll be playing through actual play, of course, with these guys here with their characters, but I will be taking moments away from the game to talk to you guys one-on-one about DMing tips and things that I think will be best for making a fantastic game in your own homebrew world. So that's basically what the show is. Some actual play, some of these tomb insights where I talk about this, and we'll also be talking about character development with the players, so it's kind of educational actual play, fun and shenanigans, and learning in the same one. So we're making learning fun again, guys, with D&D. So let's go into a little bit more detail on the characters then. Let's go one-on-one for a little minute, and let's talk about each of your characters. Then we'll go into our first tomb insight for the day and see what we're going to talk about. So let's start with Tall School. Tall School, talk to me a little bit more about Miguel, if you will.
So yes, I'm playing Miguel Oltanava, who is from Mazteca, which is sort of a Mesoamerican area here in the Forgotten Realms. He is an Aasimar, and he is extremely colorful. His Aasimar blood and his patron from being a celestial warlock is a feathered serpent, one of the rainbowed feather serpents of that region, Kotal. The one that he is actually is his patron is Kotal Khan. His leather armor is extremely colorful and reflects a lot of the colors of nature and sort of that South American jungle feel. He wears all leathers, but it's sort of like a half breastplate, which is a bright blue like a macaw that then goes into sort of yellow shoulder pads that are shaped like feathers and stamped to very much look like they are natural. He also wears a kilt sort of down low on his hips. His midsection is exposed. That is sort of the color of the sunrise and these deep greens of some of the tree snakes that are there. He has deep crimson bracers and greaves on his ankles and wrists, and facially he is handsome almost to the point of beauty. Dark cappuccino colored skin, dark wavy hair that just sort of barely comes down and sort of kisses off of his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Really strong jaw, full lips, bright smile, very expressive brow, and sort of long dark lashes. But his most distinguishing feature and how he was identified as the next sort of in line in his family and in his religion is his eyes are the colors of a color wheel. So basically every quadrant is all of the different colors of the spectrum. So he has these sort of hypnotic eyes that marked him for his position and why he is out in the world now trying to earn his right to his place among his tribe and his people. So I can't wait to get you to meet Miguel as he goes on his journey throughout the Forgotten Realms to find his name and his fortune and his legacy for this world.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Tilscroll. Let's go to Sid. Sid, talk to us a little bit about Ferrin.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, she's a half-sun elf fighter, and basically she was born into a very poor family with a mother and a father and some siblings here and there, and they realized once they had her that they weren't going to be able to provide for her, and so around the same time, this traveling circus sort of came to town, and they offered them her so because they could take care of her and they could constantly provide her food and a roof over her head. And so she's been with them basically all her life. She doesn't really remember too much of her family. And in that, she's learned a lot about different tricks and different performances, and she's become sort of this super impressive archer, and that's her show, and that's her talent that she does in this traveling circus, and she's been doing that her entire life. And she wears pretty flashy things. She's a performer, so she's got sort of a military-esque ringleader style jacket and this cool like leather bound corset and high boots and a really flashy gilded bow and arrow. It's all a bunch of fancy things and really long like red hair with a bunch of jewels in it, but it's all it's all fake. It's all for the camera.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you for telling us a little bit about Ferrin. Let's go to Greg. Greg, my man, talk to me a little bit about Zephyr.
Well, Zephyr was born a son of a pirate captain, the name of Captain Taryn Harper, and she was the queen of a boat called the Tempest's Beloved. And it wasn't revealed to him at the time of his birth or shortly thereafter. It was more towards the end of his mother's life that she informed him that his father was in fact a genie, who she had figured out a ritual and figured out a way to extract 2 wishes from him. The extraction itself became Zephyr. And as he grew, he learned that his mother had cast the 2 wishes on the crew of the Beloved before she knew she was with child, and the Beloved became immortal. And so the crew and the captain were able to do piratey things without risk of blade or time stopping them. But when the death curse came, people started dying. The resurrection and the wish no longer worked. And he was then informed about the second wish that she used, and that was to keep her location, as long as she lived, a secret of his father. Upon her death, she told him to go to shore because his father would be looking. And as his mother died in his arms, he took up pack, followed his captain's last order, and headed off into the land. Now, to look at him, he wouldn't strike you as your average barbarian or your common barbarian or your stereotypical barbarian, but he is dressed in the full blacks and deep blues of a pirate, open throat down to about the navel. His skin is a bluish gray and has scarification marks and swirls, all depicting in different languages and different iconography the symbols of the air and of the breeze and of the wind and of the gale. And as it goes up, you see that his eyes are almost white, a hint of blue, and every so often a spark or an arc of electricity will go between them or off to the side. And his hair is unkept, containing the same whites and blues and grays of his body. And to look at him, even if the wind is perfectly still, even if you're sitting inside a closed room, he always seems to be buffeted by the breeze.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Greg. Let's go to Chelsea to learn a little bit about Rufus. So Chelsea, talk to me about Rufus.
Yeah, so Rufus is a kind of abnormally large human. He stands about 6'1" and weighs in at roughly about 320 pounds, so he's kind of built like a sumo wrestler. But his aesthetic is a little bit more friar and monk-like. He grew up in a really small village as kind of a peasant. His father was a cook for the village, so he learned the trade of cooking at a very young age. And he was the size of a adult male by like 12, and it grew the attention of a group of monks, and they came to his village and offered him a chance to train with them. Well, unbeknownst to him, they had different plans than simply teaching him the ways of light, and they planned to use him as a weapon. So when he kind of found out and refused, they kept him hostage for about 10 or 12 years, where they tortured him and tried to break him into submission to do their will. One night he escaped, and he was collapsed on the side of the road and was picked up by a traveling circus. Or I say circus, like a freak show. So in terms of the way he looks, like I said, he's very large. He wears these kind of oversized cloaked robes. He has a cowl hood, a very humble man, and he carries on his back a 5-gallon barrel that he keeps all of the few possessions he has, prized possessions. He has a stout beard that grows out from underneath his kind of bulbous nose and rosy cheeks, and his head is completely bald. He walks with a simple staff and carries no weapons, for his hands are the only weapons that he needs. And so he's, like I said, he's a simple man, and is a little lost now for when he woke up in the freak show. He has no memory of who he was or what happened to him before that. So he's a little lost in terms of finding his path.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Well, I already feel like I know the characters a great deal more, which is fantastic. So before we begin our first part of the game, before we begin our story, going to go over and do our first 2 insights of the season and talk to you guys a little bit about creating worlds. So these guys will be on mute. We'll see them in 5 or 10 minutes. Stay safe in there, players. I left a couple of traps in the waiting room. Alrighty then. So it is just you and I now, my friends, as we go to our first 2 insight. We got the points of the day up here on my bulletin board, and I've got my arrow of seeking to point towards which one we're going to be talking about in a moment. So throughout the session, we're going to be hitting these 2 main points. First of all is creating worlds, where to even begin, because Learn by Play Season 2, Reinventing the Realms, is all about creating homebrew worlds. And the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about creating a homebrew world is where on earth to even begin. There's so much to think about. You've got religion, you've got magic to think about, you've got factions to think about, you've got races, you've got class. So much to think about. Where do you even begin? So the kind of point of where I started with this season was taking the Forgotten Realms as a core, because I know that, my players know that, you guys as an audience know that, so you know what I'm going to be referring to, and we're going to change little bits of it. So normally what you would begin with, of course, is having, by the time you get to session 1, having your homebrew world written out and probably having 20 million words written about it, if you're someone like me, and, really having a feeling of where the world is and what it is. However, we're starting with the realms, we're changing things as we go, and the way that I'm going to be doing that is basically via narrative. We're going to be bringing in some events into the world which will change the realms as we go. So rather than just saying, oh, remember Neverwinter when you went there, episode 2? Yeah, now that's totally different because I decided it. We're going to bring in a couple of effects into the world that are going to be changing them. Namely, I found an excuse to do this via Season 1. Now, we are continuing on from Season 1, you don't have to have watched it to enjoy this one, of course, but there'll be a couple of things I throw in there as a reference to our first season. Namely, what happened is, because we were playing Tomb of Annihilation, the guys got to the Soulmonger and blew it up, sending all of the lost souls in the universe back out into the void where they belong. Problem with that being is that's a huge outburst of like trapped magic and souls, and I've used this excuse to bring in a couple of other things. We focused a lot on, almost solely on what was happening in Chult in our first season. This season, we're going to be looking at what happened along the Sword Coast and what happened in the realms as a whole. So that's the short pitch. Where to even begin with creating your own world? Well, inspiration is a difficult thing to come across, right? But I usually start with one cool idea that I have for the world, right? So in this world, I've got a homebrew world named Penumbra, which is a really low fantasy world. You might have come across it if you've watched a couple of other shows that I do. It's really low fantasy. It's like medieval Europe. It's dark, it's gritty, and it's just horrible, right? It's just this horrible, gritty place to live in. And that was the main idea when I was creating that campaign. When I first started writing the world, I thought, okay, what's the cool thing? This one is super low magic. How does that affect everything else? And that was the idea that I took. I started and went into every fucking else, right? So that idea blossomed out. And having that first idea is difficult. It could be really anything, though. You could watch Star Wars and think, hey, you know the Stormtroopers in Star Wars? Those guys are cool. I want them to be in my world, and then build everything up from them. Finding that initial inspiration is difficult, but most people have a pretty cool idea, I've found. You can also look a ton of places for inspiration. Now, I know Mordekainen's Tome of Foes is coming out in May, which is going to be a beautiful way to look at the different multiverse settings that D&D has, but they can serve as great inspiration already just looking up wiki pages. You know, what is Dark Sun? What is Eberron? What is Planescape? You know, look at these different worlds and think about things that they have in them. And that's a great place to get started and think, you know, I like this bit of the realms, I like this bit here, I'd like this bit to be in my world. It's generally where I start building on worlds, you know, steal an idea from here, steal an idea from there, make it into a new thing. And we're going to start doing that today with the realms. And what I actually want to do with you guys is in the second half of the section, we're talking about governments, religion, and magic later on, actually do a bit of homebrew writing with you guys live in Twitch chat. So I'm going to write a few ideas down, you guys are going to help me out with some ideas, and we're going to get writing together so you can actually see the process that I'm talking about. So learning by playing, teaching by showing. Miraculous. Let's go into the game, let's go back to our players and see how they're doing. Alright, players. We're back at you now, and we're ready to begin our story. Well, I'm ready. If you guys are ready, you guys ready?
Sure.
Yes.
Let's discover the rediscovered,
Let's do it.
recreated realms.
It's super super confident. That's how I like this. Well, funny Tool Score should say something because you're going to be the one that I pick first. Tool Score, you're my first victim for today. Okay. Alrighty. So, I would like you to tell me, Tool Score, why Miguel ended up in Chult. Because that's where we're going to start you today, in Port Nyanzaru. Now, there's been a lot of events that have been going on in Chult in the past few months. Where we are now, we're a couple of months after the Soulmonger was destroyed. So some feeling of normality has returned to Chult. Of course, it's still this dangerous, horrific land filled with monsters and dinosaurs, but Miguel has obviously found there's been a great deal of work for adventuring types there. In particular, you may have worked with Sindra Sylvain, who is the main agent for the Harpers, who was working to solve the Soulmonger problem over in Port Nyanzaru. But what kind of drew him there? Give me an idea, and we'll work from there.
Well, Miguel came here mainly because with his background and being a emissary of Kotal Khan, who is a feathered serpent, and the rumors that the Yuan-Ti had resurged in this area, and some of the 9 gods being serpents, like it certainly piqued the attention of his religion and his order. So, not to mention, as all of the realms discovered, suddenly resurrection wasn't working. A lot of the spells that they relied upon to help keep their community running, him being a celestial warlock with sort of a healing bent, suddenly things weren't right. So he was sent, and again, since he is sort of on this mission, has come of age and to find his name, and really in it, probably a little bit of hubris, headed out with the idea that it was his destiny to solve what was going on in Chult, that would be his namesake and what would make him to become the next speaker of the serpents. So left his home, came here to Chult, landed in Port Nyanzaru, and was recruited by Sylvain. I just lost her name.
Sindra Sylvain, isn't it?
Sindra Sylvain, not Sylvain. Sindra Sylvain. And he was literally getting ready to head out gathering an adventuring party on his own, hadn't made it very far when word came out that, lo and behold, the soulmonger had been restored. Certainly magics that had not been working before were starting to work again. And a little bit in defeat came back to Port Naranzaru and has been sort of been a freelance adventurer, but is not very happy with the situation that he finds himself in, without some giant big namesake of a adventure to go on. So he's been lurking around Port Naranzaru in the taverns, in the brothels, and making a name for himself, probably not in the way of which his ancestors meant.
Absolutely. So it's likely that we would find Miguel in a tavern of an evening in Port Naranzaru then. Amazing. Well, that's where we'll pick things up with you then, Zephyr. You're probably in a dirty little back alley bar somewhere in Port Naranzaru, where there's, I mean, all sorts goes on in Port Naranzaru. There's pretty much anything to be bought or sold around here, whether it's you're looking for a coin or you're looking for to spend something on the dino races. You can get pretty much anything around here. But you're surprised to see the slender form of Sindra Salvain coming towards you in the corner of the bar. She, of course, is somewhat restored to herself than last time you saw her. She's basically getting facial reconstruction surgery via magic done to her face, because there's a whole lot of it was dripping off when she had the death curse, and there was, you know, just flesh coming off of her face. But she stalks towards you, hood up, and sits next to you at the table. Miguel, how are you doing? I have some word that I think you might find interesting, but first a drink.
Yes, of course. I assume you're buying, my dear. You look lovely as always. Seems as though things are going well for you.
Yes, well, it's getting there, I suppose, but we have more pressing matters. She calls over for a drink from the barman, who sets down 2 shots on the table. He seems to know the usual order. And as she grimaces and downs it, well, yes, on to this more important news. I've had word from Neverwinter, from my friends amongst the Harpers, and I, well, think I have some more important work for you, Miguel.
Indeed. Perhaps something worthy of making a name for myself. It has been interesting, of course, to go on dino hunts and go and clean some of this out, but I think I, and you know, I was meant for so much more.
I couldn't agree more. It seems as though there have been a great deal of events going on in Neverwinter since last I was there, and well, my attention has been distracted from Neverwinter whilst the Soulmonger was in effect, and whilst we were seeking to destroy it. Now, I have had word that a great deal of magic has been outlawed in Neverwinter, whilst hordes of the undead have been roaming across the Sword Coast unchecked, taking over towns, cities, wherever they can during the time of the Death Curse, and it seems now that they are strong too. For with the abundance of corpses that they made, these bands of undead, necromancers, and, well, worse from what I hear, led on by, of course, the Lich who ruled over these lands once, they have found a purchase along the Sword Coast, and a band of unified paladins under one banner and under a group of gods rather than their own, have found a way to find themselves in control of the city of Neverwinter. Just heard word today that Lord Neverember has relinquished any control and lordship. He's hiding himself away in the tower, away from politics, while some man named Marcus Pontimus, sounds like quite a ponce to me, has taken over Neverwinter with these paladins. Now, that might not be a bad thing. They've been fighting the undead, and by all accounts they've kept the city safe during this time of unrest and continue to do so. But I've heard word from the inside that the College of Mages might be in danger. They don't like anyone that's using non-holy magic. For instance, I used to know a divination wizard. See things from the stars and dreams and futures. And the new laws that they wish to put out, he may very well be arrested. I fear for the college, and it's important that mages, especially in dark times like this, along the Sword Coast, are protected. I think you, as she like swallows her pride, as savior of the realms and all of magic, could surely make a name for yourself here, Miguel.
It does have a nice, interesting ring to it, does it not? To Miguel Ortanava, slayer of undead, bringer of magic, savior of magic.
Yes, yes.
That could be interesting indeed. I would be very interested in this, and you are bankrolling such a epic adventure, I hear.
Indeed, I will make sure that you have transportation, fast transportation back to the Sword Coast. But you alone, of course. I wouldn't want to put all my eggs in one basket for such a task. I believe it necessary that we assemble a small team of individuals.
Ah, a leader of men and women on an epic, glorious quest. This is... Yes, you know me well. You know me well. I believe this could be right up what I'd be looking for.
Yes, well, if that's the case, then I will indeed make sure that you get there in time and provide contacts that I believe will be useful to you. In times like these, we need to know that we can trust people, and the individuals on my list, I believe, can be trusted. I've been watching them for some time, and most of them are magic users like yourself with a vested interest in protecting mages and magic. And, well, who better to lead them, eh?
Ah, you are a smart woman, that is for sure. And
yes.
As soon as this dark time has passed us, I'm sure your beauty once again will match that of your intellect. I look forward to that day. But as for now,
yes,
Cendrane, I am in your service as always.
Good, good. That I am glad to hear. Well, if that's the case, then meet me tomorrow morning at the palace, and I will see to your transportation.
I will be there with the sunrise to head off into this next adventure.
She slides over a parchment upon which are a list of names and descriptions about them. You can learn a little bit about Firen, Zephyr, and Rufus as they are on Syndra's list. You get, basic, race, basic visual description and where you'll be able to find them. And Syndra finishes her shop and heads back to her palaces, leaving you in a bar. What would you like to do?
I peruse the bar to see if I can find someone to have a drink with. It is
what kind of person
evening
are you looking
for celebration.
There are plenty of people at the bar. There is a tabaxi here. She seems to be sipping at a glass of milk mixed with rum. And she kind of looks over. Miguel, isn't it?
Ah, my name precedes me, I see. Have we met before?
No, we have not met before, I don't believe. I saw you at the dino races the other day.
Ah, yes. So, what are you doing this evening? my glorious creature?
Well, I am doing a little bit of rest and relaxation. I have been very busy, you see. Many tasks to be performed in Port Nyanzaru, although soon I will be returning to the Sword Coast upon a vessel. It will be a long voyage, I'm sure, but it will be an exciting one. The open seas, no?
Ah, yes, there's nothing quite like the open sea, and before a long voyage, you should always partake of all of the enjoyments that the land has to offer before embarking on something new.
I could not agree any further, but tell me, what is your business here, Miguel? You handled yourself well in the dino races. There must be something that you are up to.
Oh, this and that. I am here to make a name for myself. I am to be the next emissary and speaker of serpents to Kotal Khan.
Ah, I see. That is a high honor indeed. Very interesting. That young lady that I saw you speaking with there, she is Miss Sindra Sylvain, is she not?
Some know her by that name, yes. But what concern is she to us? We have an evening, we have the bar, we have the moonlight.
Yes, yes. Of course, you are right. Tell me more about this adventure of yours.
And this young tabaxi lady will speak with Miguel for the best part of the night. She seems interested in learning about what you have done, about what you're doing. She asks a lot of questions about you, and she tells you a little bit about her own work as well, which is in
Imports, exports, you know.
she definitely... In fact, give me an insight check, Miguel, on this lady.
It's an 11.
She seems really interested in you, man. She's into it.
Oh, yeah, so Miguel, with probably... can I do a... no, he thinks he's off on an adventure and he's being bankrolled by Sindrain. He gets a bottle of, it's not very good liquor, and puts an arm around her and goes, "Ah, my dear, let us take the evening in together, perhaps a stroll, and then someplace more private and comfortable for us to talk of his business of imports and exports."
Yes, indeed. Let us do that. A little walk down by the docks, perhaps. The moon is so big tonight.
When the player in you goes, "This is so stupid, I'm about to get a dagger in the guts," but he is so into it. Yes, let us go see how big that moon is together.
Ooh, so you head out with this lady, Tabaxi. She has introduced herself as She Speaks in Tongues, is her name.
Gotcha.
She speaks in tongues. And she leads you down by the docks on a romantic moonlit walk down there. Now, of course, as you are staring out across the port of Nyanzaru, by this time it's dark and most of the other workers have, gone back to the bars or their own beds. You notice that there are two gentlemen who are been watching you for some time and haven't left. And as you guys are in, something of a dead end of the endless docks here, they begin to move towards you. They also appear to be Tabaxi, although much burlier than She Speaks in Tongues. They seem to be, basically heavies, and they are kind of walking towards you. At this point, maybe 30 feet away. Their intention to move towards you is certainly clear.
I noticed them. I don't need to make a check or anything.
You could roll me an insight check into what their intentions look like. It's going to be fairly easy. he says.
7.
These guys, these guys must be friends of She Speaks in Tongues. Maybe her brothers. You don't know.
Look, your friends have joined us. There's room for everyone in our celebration. Join us, friends! He calls out to the other tabaxi.
Yes. As you hit the
There's
end
plenty of Miguel to go around.
at the end of this pier, She Speaks in Tongues kind of turns on you as the two other tabaxi gentlemen kind of flank her from behind. They have daggers out, and She Speaks in Tongues looks at you and says,
So, Mr. Miguel, the Zentarim are going to be very interested in what you're up to with Miss Sylvain. So, how about you hand over some information, or we take over your body with knives?
But of course, what do you need to know, my friends?
Well, what is it that she is sending you to do? Where are you headed, and who are you meeting with?
We are heading back to the Sword Coast. Apparently somewhere in the south. I do not know all the names of these places that are foreign to me, being an outlander. But I am to meet with the locals. Someone is supposed to escort me. Of course, someone of my station would not be just allowed to walk the streets by themselves. So I just go where she points, that is all.
roll me a deception check here, Miguel. You do have a list of people's names. Go back to the screen.
That's a 25, the one thing Miguel can do.
She totally buys it. And she speaks in tongues and says,
Very well, so you are a unknowing fool who they lead. You go where she tells you then.
Sometimes the fools are the ones who are meant to lead the world. Look at our own rulers and leaders around us. Right? Am I wrong?
Then perhaps you would be more used to us alive than dead.
I often am. I have many skills when I'm alive.
Yes, well, in that case, maybe we could come to a mutual arrangement, where you tell us where you are, what you're up to, that kind of thing, every now and then, a little letter in the mail, and maybe we don't send our agents after you to kill you in your sleep. And maybe we can sweeten the deal just a little bit with some coin.
and she kind of flicks out a shiny gold piece from out of her sleeve. Yeah.
He grabs the gold piece. If you have coin, then very much so. I am at your disposal, so to speak.
Tabaxi has wares if you have coin.
Yeah, we will. I've never had a pen pal, so perhaps this will be an interesting arrangement indeed. Perhaps you might have something else that I could take with me on my journey. You said you are imports and exports of exotic goods. Perhaps, maybe a weapon or potion that would aid me in us being better acquainted and good friends.
You can give me another deception check here. I'm sensing that...
Deception or persuasion?
Well, is Miguel lying about wanting to have this relationship would be my question, I guess.
I don't know. At this point in the thing, I think that he's intrigued. And I would tell you, they both have this. It's the same modifier for each. So let's just roll and see what happens.
Let's do it.
Because yeah, I'm not quite sure where he's going. 10. So yeah, on either persuasion or deception, either way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she speaks in tongues. She kind of narrows her the slits of her eyes, untrusting of you.
I'm not sure that you are ready for any of our gifts just yet, but gifts we do have. Perhaps coin for now will do, and then perhaps we can come into possession of more powerful artifacts. You see, my benefactor is in control of a great deal of items which might be a little bit forbidden in the places that you are going to, Miguel. Oh, every now and then you send us word, and we will provide you with your life, as well as a few trinkets along the way, but first you must prove your use to us. If we do not hear from you within a week, then we will send our agents after you.
Sounds like a very fair bargain, but so this coin that you are providing, shall we discuss it further? Now that we've come to a mutual agreement, your friends can still come along if they'd like.
I think I will pass. Mixing business with pleasure is not very professional.
Oh, business and pleasure is always professional.
Well, I think it's time to run along now, Miguel. Back to your mistress. Well, one of your mistresses.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for the coin.
The two heavies let you pass, but they kind of like shoulder barge you on the way, right? They're not letting you go easily, just to kind of, you know.
Friends, you like it rough as well. You are welcome if you are available later this evening. Yes.
What you just said in their language was incredibly offensive, I'm sure. So they let you pass. Miguel, where do you go?
I probably have a room that I can't afford that I've charmed my way into at a local inn. I head on over and go and give a dreamy-eyed stare to whoever's working behind the counter to once again let me spend the night without having paid, inviting them up, of course. It is a chilly evening, but I'm sure we could keep it warm. Oh, wait, we're in Schult. It's always warm. And gives a little head nod, whether they join or not. He just sort of charms his way through life.
Yeah, I'm sure whoever is behind the bar will undoubtedly be charmed by Miguel. But of course, the next day comes, and you wake up again, probably in bed with a half-orc, and you've got Syndra on the to-do list, as it were, today.
Ah, my big green friend, what a night! Must bid adieu. Have a lovely life. May you find and dream of even more large green women and or men. Packs himself and heads out.
Absolutely. You head up to the steps of the palace which Syndra Taverne has taken over in the past few months. It is incredibly it's palatial around here. It's very beautiful in this area as you come up these marble steps to her palace. There are servants around. There's even a pool in here as well, and you see Syndra Sylvain stooped over some maps over a table, and she looks up expectantly. Ah, Miguel, you're here. Excellent.
My dear Syndra, may I inquire, do you still have the wards around your office spaces to keep others from listening?
Yes, why? Have you gotten yourself into trouble already?
Trouble has gotten itself into me, as always. But I had an interesting visit from some tabaxis. She speaks in tongues, and two of her associates wanting to bribe their way into my pocket and perhaps your business as well. I thought you should know they sure will not be contacting me as the only person to try to influence.
She looks concerned, and she says, "Who were they exactly? I might know of them."
As I said, it was a tabaxi. Her name, she said, was She Speaks in Tongues. But quite cute. And she said that they had a sponsor in imports and exports, and that there was someone who could provide more exotic payment than just coin if I were to comply by sending letters back from Neverwinter. I did not tell them where I was going.
Good. Good. Well, as long as they think that they have you in their pocket, then perhaps we can use this to our advantage. Yes, I think so. You will send them those letters, but you will not give them the information that is exactly true. I would like to find out who is behind this organization, rather than just cutting all ties right now, making enemies. Why not let us keep them friends for now, while it suits us? And then, when we can draw them in, that is when we will strike.
Ah, there's that beautiful intellect of yours again, thinking, I will do as you say. They did, of course, threaten to kill me. But,
of course.
I will keep up appearances, play the fool that they think I am.
Right. Well, did you take a look at that list I sent you?
I did. It is quite interesting group that you have found here.
Indeed.
Tell me, how do you know of these people?
I have agents across the realms who have been looking into this. There are still a few Harpers active in the area, and specifically in the Neverwinter regions. They are people of note that are on a waiting list that they don't know they're on. The Harpers, we select people either from the College of Mages, or sometimes I like to go a little bit more wild card, if you will. You are such one of those wild cards, Miguel.
I'm flattered, my dear.
Excellent. Then, we should get you along your way, unless there's anything else you need. Oh, before I forget, she goes into her bag, and she draws out 4 healing potions.
Ah, see, this is why I adore you the way that I do, my dear. You know how to truly speak to a man's heart.
Indeed. She hands... she looks uncomfortable. She looks so uncomfortable around Miguel all the time, by the way. Yes. Pushes the 4 potions across the table towards you. You know, trying to avoid too much eye contact. Miguel has a lot of eye contact, I'm sure.
He's a close talker, too.
He's a real close talker. She kind of, goes backwards. Just keeps that respectful distance that she, as an elf, is a bit more happy with. Pushes them across the table. Now, where you're going, I'm not sure if they've enabled any laws yet, but from what I hear, it's not long before non-radiant magic will become illegal within Neverwinter, perhaps even the outlying towns and villages, depending on how much power this Marcus Pontimus has. And these so-called wardens, the group of paladins who have united together to defeat the undead along the Sword Coast. So be careful with any magic that you are performing. I'd only cast it if necessary, and be sure not to do it around anyone that looks like a guard, official, or paladin.
Oh, but my dear, radiant is my specialty. And he, radiant smile, and he does a little sacred flame, radiance.
Good, good. So it's my understanding that you would have to be, in their own words, ordained. So, whilst they might not mind that radiance, they might take umbrage at the fact that you're doing any kind of magic without their permission. So I would be careful. Approach the first one on your list, Zephyr, I believe. For the other 2, Ferrin and Rufus, are together. He will help you win them over, although it will be up to you to convince them, of course.
Ah, no worries there.
Very well. Well,
I will sing him the song of my people. Sing him of the summer nights here in Chont.
Indeed. Then, if you would like to step into my private chamber, I have a teleportation circle ready for you.
Why, Syndra, I've been waiting for months to step into your private chamber.
This is a one-time thing, Miguel. There's no coming back from this.
You break my heart, my dear. But I will just longingly await the day when I may return.
Of course, as do I, to make sure that you are safe, for we have such a good friendship.
Yes, friends. Friends, just a bud of a flower waiting to bloom, I tell you.
Yes, well, I have a gardener for my flowers outside.
I tend to quite a garden myself, you know.
I have to go. There's another important task. Is that Serac outside? Yeah. I'll see you soon, Miguel. She runs away.
Adieu, my lady.
Is it weird that I ship this? There is a private chamber there. You can see the teleportation circle inside.
Yep, so I walk in and...
She runs into the teleportation circle. She just misty steps out of there.
She is a quick little minx, I will give her that. Even though at least she's not leaving parts on the floor anymore. And he goes through.
Amazing. So let's cut to Zephyr for a second here as Miguel steps into the teleportation circle.
Oh, I love following that act.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay.
Best of luck. So Zephyr, somewhere in Neverwinter, I'm sure, is where we're going to find you today. What kind of location would you find you in? Would it be a kind of tavern? Would you be in like a guild maybe, or your own private house or room?
No, definitely it would be a tavern of some kind. And depending upon the actual how Neverwinter is functioning right now, he would probably find the seediest inn, the closest to, or tavern closest to the docks that he could, because it would remind him of being aboard the Tempest Beloved and being associated with the crew of his captain and his mother. And he would probably sit in a corner somewhere because his appearance is offsetting, especially when it's predominantly the quote unquote natural races that are around his demeanor, and the fact that he's constantly has a breeze blowing around him.
Because you're homebrew content, you're not into PHB, so you get.
It's right.
Yeah, you get second.
I'm in an appendix, and that's a separate table apparently in this tavern, right?
I love it. Yeah, your DLC. So it makes sense.
Right.
So you found a seedy little tavern. Here's what you know about what's been going on in Neverwinter. So basically, this group of paladins united under one banner, which is a little bit odd for all the paladins because usually they go under different gods, Bahamut, Lathander, and whatnot. They've banded together under this group named the Wardens, led by a man named Marcus Pontimus, and they have been waging war against the undead here in the Sword Coast. When the death curse was high, not only were there hordes of zombies in Chult, but necromancers were raising up all these undead because, of course, people weren't dying properly. So you had this weird half-zombie people, and necromancers, vampires, all sorts of people have been waging war against them. And that's been what's been going on. The Sword Coast has lost cities. Luskan's been under a lot of attack, and other cities to the north as well have been losing this fight basically. But the paladins, these wardens, have kept Neverwinter safe against several hordes of zombies. Several sieges have been fought here at Neverwinter. So the population adore the Wardens because they've protected them. There hasn't been a plucky group of 4 adventurers who have come along and saved the world. It has been a united, basically governmental force who are doing their job right. There's a lot of good feeling for that, and it's not like they are only one god. They're not monotheistic. They're polytheistic. They allow, if you worship Bahamut, great, that's fine. If you worship Lathander, that's great. So they're clearly not, from what you've been able to tell whilst you've been in Neverwinter, this band of people who have been totally oppressing everyone. In fact, they're seen as saviors. You do know, however, there's been a lot of whispers about magic becoming outlawed. A lot of propaganda is going around the city that mages have caused all this necromancy to occur, and that paladins have been the ones fighting it, because radiant magic is what destroys the undead. So in theory, in propaganda theory, any other kind of magic could cause necromancy. So no matter what Zephyr thinks about this is basically information that he knows right now. The city isn't at wartime, but it's in very hard times. So people are worried and afraid. They look to the wardens for safety. And you're in the bar tonight. So the bartender comes along. What are you drinking? He's kind of looks at you. What do you want? It's a big half-orc named Mutt.
Hey, Mutt. Rum.
Rum. He slams down some rum on the table, and he's one of those, similarly to Miguel, sort of bartenders, he's probably been here a couple of times, that doesn't ask many questions about you, but is also really interested in you, because you aren't one of his normal-looking customers, if you will. And he can tell by the look of you that there's something different to you.
So, what you been up to recently? Any adventures?
None. Just getting a feel for the city. Just walking.
Yeah.
Seeing. Look.
Walking.
What have you heard?
Seeing. Well, I've heard that the mages up in the college are going to get it pretty soon with the wardens and all that bad magic they've been doing. You know, raising all them dead lot and all that in the wars.
The mages don't really concern me, Mutt, but people like me.
Yeah. Well, you, yeah. Are you a magic man?
Not at all.
You look like you was made of it.
Right, that's my concern.
Yeah. Well, it's good to learn about your people, you know. I try and get myself more thinked up and all of the, broaden my horizons and all that on people, so that I don't offend no one in my bar, you know.
Right, you. No offense, Mutt. You've been top notch.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be seen like one of those, you know, stereotypical guys who own bars, what is real horrible to people who come in here that look different and all that, you know.
You want me to leave, Mutt?
No, not at all. Not at all. I want you to stay. I want to learn about your people and about you.
Well, I'm a sailor.
Yeah.
I'm in port.
Hmm.
My people have an affinity for the sky.
Okay, the sky's good.
It's not bad.
Not bad, is it? No.
More like a super elf. You know, I read books. They like to live out in the nature.
Uh-huh.
I'm do that, only I'm a little bit more of the nature.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Zephyr, because, you know, I will broaden my horizons. I don't want to, you know, judge you on first impressions, because you look kind of odd, don't you?
Right. I appreciate you keep mentioning that as well.
But now I know that you is made from the sky, which is not bad.
Right. I appreciate your interest.
At this point, Miguel appears behind the bar.
From behind the bar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Zephyr would immediately grab the hilt of the sword that's peeking up from behind his shield. And upon seeing what he looks like, he immediately takes his hand off the hilt, sensing no threat.
Yeah, Mutt kind of falls over himself. He's a big burly half-orc. As Miguel, you know,
What are you doing behind my bar? Where'd you come from?
I came from Schultz.
Oh. That's what that place is far away, isn't it? I've been doing some reading about that. Yeah, and the people from there. I accept them for who they are, even though they is different from what I am.
He's very accepting.
Yep. Got a sign up and all.
and there is a sign
Aren't
indeed.
you a lovely gentleman to get to know?
There is indeed a sign up which reads, "We does accept all peoples."
Well, for a wonderful mutual acceptance, perhaps we can have a drink from your lovely bar here. It is quite well stocked, my friend.
We got dark rum, and we got white rum, and we got Malibu, which is from where your people come from, where they mix the coconuts into the rum.
Yes, I'm very familiar with Malibu. It is It is a drink for long summer afternoons at the beach. Have you been to the beach before, my friend?
I have not been to the beach, or even though I live along the shore coast. That is one of the horizons that I would like to expand for myself.
So, and he's got his arm around the orc. So Zephyr, my friend,
he seems totally
thinking
fine.
the orc is Zephyr because he doesn't know, right? I mean, did it say that it was an ass? What, that it was a
It totally said race and what he looked like, but I love the idea that Miguel
but
thinks...
he totally puts his arm
He
around
hasn't
the
read
orc.
it yet. Sorry, what you call me?
Zephyr, are you not Zephyr, who is a legendary warrior to join me on my quest to find my name?
He thinks for a second. No, that's a mutt. That is Zephyr there. That man who is made from the sky, whom I accept.
From the sky, you say?
Yep. The sky man.
I look at Zephyr. That is enticing, my friend.
Who are you, mate?
I am Miguel Otanava. And you
Why
are
you-
Zephyr.
Yes, why are you here?
I have been sent by Sindra Sildane. She has told me you are a wild card that she is going to employ to head to Neverwinter and see what's going on with these paladins.
And Will, he would have been told that there was somebody coming for him, correct? Or was this a brand new information for Zephyr?
It's likely that someone like Zephyr would have been made aware that someone is coming to speak to you about a top secret thing, and that you'd be paid for it.
By the absolutely rainbow feathered, Las Vegas showgirl guy.
Yeah, probably
who just showed up.
Yeah, probably where Zephyr was hanging out in seedy bars is to have like a quiet cloak and dagger conversation with someone. Yeah.
That's exactly. And she sent you.
Yes.
Did you ever think about maybe some darker colors, neutrals, maybe even some earth tones?
What is the point in that?
Oh boy. Well, Miguel, what are we supposed to do?
Well, we have a few more companions that we need to go and discover together.
Matt is totally here during this whole conversation, by the way. Yeah, would you...
Mutt, our accepting good friend here. Mutt, would you like to come along?
Well, I do
You
have...
seem the one wanting new experiences.
This is very true, but I do own a bar, which is the only way what I live. So leaving that property might be not a good idea.
Right. and
Which
he does
is-
have
It is quite a noble profession that you enter, my friend.
Well, someone's
We are
got
all
to tend
in
it.
your debt and your service to bring adventurers from around the world together
Well,
in such places.
What I like to think is that I put the tender in bartender, if that makes sense, because I care.
Aren't you just a special flower, my friend?
Sparks
He blushes.
fly off of Zephyr's eyes as he rolls them beneath his cloak. Well,
Wow, sparks as well. You
Oh, boy.
are intriguing, my friend.
yeah, well, who do we have? You said 2 more people? What are they, a clown and a fire juggler?
I look at the list. Actually, a strongman and a sharpshooter, but close.
I was joking. All right.
What, a feathered prince, a pirate, a strongman, and an archer. It is a glorious, glorious group that we shall make.
Well,
It's a shooting star, my friend.
if
We
you...
are a shooting star, my friend.
All right.
Matt will speak up and say, well, if you knows where they are, I could help you with transportation if you need horses, or I help with directions. I'm very good with directions.
I pull out the list, and I'm sort of still leaning over the bar looking at Zephyr. I just sort of hold the list up over to Mutt. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you able to read, my friend? If not, I can take care of that for you. No
Yes, I
offense.
can. I did go to school, actually.
Wrote the
Are a
side.
gem among men.
I
my
wrote
friend.
that art up there, yeah. He Yeah, basically, it gives a location of a town just outside of Neverwinter, a small village outside of Neverwinter, where the circus are set to perform. Well, I know you could get over there if you walked, or you could go on a horse, or you could go on an airship. Which one would it be?
You say?
Yes.
How far a distance is it by horseback, my friend?
Well, I think it'll only be about a day. But, I mean, airship is just classier, isn't it?
It is classy, I will give you that. However, perhaps for such a short adventure, I will save... You see, I want to savor the experience of an airship my first time. And to go on it for what, less than an hour? Perhaps even less. I assume an airship is faster than a horse.
I assume so. I've never seen one before.
Well, then perhaps we will save that experience. Maybe we can one day take you as our bartender upon a glorious airship, my friend Mutt.
Well, if you ever know where one is, just let me know.
You said you had horses, my friend, and I most certainly you will be the first bartender that I get in contact with once I book my flight, my glorious first adventure with my friend Zephyr on the airships above.
Well, all right.
Horses,
I've got
though.
horses
If
outside.
you ever leave this
Jake,
bar, we might just be talking to you for weeks and weeks and weeks.
I would like that. I would like that.
I know you're expanding your horizons,
See,
but
he's expanding, meeting all these new cultures and peoples.
horses.
Horses are outside in what I call a stable because it's very secure and no one ever gets in there.
It doesn't move a lot.
Doesn't
rock.
move very much. It's, you know, very, very grounded, I would say. And there are horses in there what you can take.
Well, Miguel, to the stables.
If you could bring them back when you get back to the city, that would be real nice, because they are about 50% of all of my monetary investment. The other 50% is this bar.
You can trust us, my friend Mutt. We will return them unharmed to you just as soon as we have the rest of our companions. I ask you, if you will do us the great favor, may we take 2 extra with us to bring these other traveler back with us? We will...
All right, but one of them's
careful.
only a little pony, really.
Perfect for a strong man.
I look back at the list. I don't have anything about their I don't have
No.
anything other than their names and general stuff, right?
Right.
I'm sure a pony will be fine. A sharpshooter. They can't be very large.
Right.
Strong man, we'll see.
Then,
But
yeah, it'll be fine. I'm sure you'll enjoy yourselves.
would you like a deposit or anything, my friend? Or is it just our honest faces that you know we shall return? You have the word of Miguel Watanabe.
I don't believe in deposits. That's what I told the bank.
You are truly a brilliant scholar, my friend.
Yep, got that educational thinking. Right, horses out there, and he kind of like shows you outside the stables. There are indeed like 3, nice horses in there for riding, and then there is the kind of little pony.
Zephyr, my friend, let us fly like the wind of the sky that you are made and head our way over to this lovely town and find the rest of our companions.
When I
We can
say
stop doing that right away.
when I say pony, it's totally a Shetland pony, by the way.
Wow, okay. This could be so good. They're actually very strong.
Yeah, they are.
Let's go. You're the one with the names and the list.
Yes, but we enter this together, my friend.
Oh, I know.
Smalls.
I will, whenever I feel better about this.
It does not get any better. That is the way these adventures go. You should have been down in Schult. It was quite a harrowing time.
Oh, I'm sure. You look like you've been through harrowing.
Not so much. Let us go.
Amazing. So the 2 of you, Miguel and Zephyr, head out from the city of Neverwinter. And we're going to cut to Ferrin and Rufus the next day. So Fair and Rufus, you guys have come into the village, which basically is on the set list of tour locations that you guys are going to with the circus. Your circus ringleader is Master Felius. He runs the circus and is in charge of what you do. He's not a particularly nice man. He basically uses all of the people in the circus to make money for them, out of being freaks or weirdos or, dwarven ladies with beards, that kind of thing. And he doesn't pay you at all anything worth that you guys are doing, right, for the tasks that he's asking you to perform. So it's about an hour away from the performance. The stage is all set up. You guys are behind stage. It's like an outdoor theatre showing is going to happen, basically. And they set up the tents and everything outside. And Circus Master Felius, human, and of course he's got that kind of bowler's top hat on. The audience beginning to gather outside. You're in the backstage areas where the performers are warming up and chatting and getting ready. And Phoebus comes over to the two of you, who are presumably kind of warming up as well. So just before he gets there, what are you guys doing, Rufus and Ferrin?
You can go first if you want.
Rufus doesn't really warm up in the normal sense, I guess. So he, this giant man. I picture that they have him in something that's scantily clad to show off the grotesque size of his body, which kind of embarrasses him as a very humble man. And so he's not bending or stretching or anything. He's kind of warming his hands up because he knows he's probably going to have to pick up things and show his strength. But he watches, her as she begins to do probably a more nimble warm up.
Yeah, she's more of the traditional, doing stretches and practicing just firing at some targets and making sure she's hitting the bullseye every time, which she is. She's been doing this since she could hold bow and arrow. So that's pretty much it. It's a routine at this point.
Absolutely. So Felius sort of comes over. He's like, "Are you two ready then?"
Well, yes, sir, I am. I'm always ready.
As ready as you always are.
He does not look happy with this. I need you to be ready, on point today. I can't have a single thing out of line, do you understand? A single drop of weight or a single arrow, just an inch to the right, do you understand?
Don't worry. Watch. And she'll pull out an arrow and aim and straight for the target to show that.
Roll an attack roll.
Okay.
He is clenching, unclenching his fist. He's super stressed.
Yeah. Now I am too.
Yeah, Rufus looks at me and goes, "She never misses. See? I told you."
Yeah, it's a 21.
Yeah, the arrow kind of flies right over and just hits right at the bullseye, and he kind of relaxes just a little bit. Fine. Good. I'm glad. And you, Rufus? Everything ready with you? You look nervous. You're making me nervous, Rufus.
I'm sorry, sir. It's just your energy is a bit much. I get a little shaky before shows.
My energy is exactly what you need. Feed from it. Taste from my energy. You will need it. Play off it. The circus. We need all of the energy tonight. It's a very, very big night. There's some very important clients going to be here that I wish to impress.
Yes, sir. I perform. I'm just not a good performer. I'll just keep my mouth shut. I'm sorry, sir. I'm talking too much.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Too much.
Aaron will come over and sort of step in between them and say, "I'm sorry, I haven't gotten him his water that he needs before. So just don't worry about it. I'll and she pulls out an arrow. She sort of taps the tip of it and she's like, I'll take care of him. Don't you worry. I got him."
She's got me.
And she sort of taps him with the arrow and she's like, "Come on."
Yeah, and Rufus, he lets out a kind of as good of a grin as he can. His teeth are kind of jagged and he kind of smiles at you to try to convince you that he's not as nervous as he actually is.
Absolutely. So eventually, Master Felius kind of walks off to harass some other of his actors and performers. And as you guys kind of warm up and get ready, it's probably about 30 minutes before the act. And you see a gentleman walking towards you. He's not one that you recognize. He's not one of the performers. He wears leathers. He looks to be kind of ready for combat. And he has a sword on his hip. He's got long hair, probably down to beyond like the small of his back. So he's got like really, really long hair, which is almost like perfectly blonde. And he strides towards you and says, "Ah, you must be the two that I've heard so much about, Circus Master Felius. He was telling me just a few moments ago that he was so very excited for this performance. I'm one of his favorite clients."
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Rufus. They call me Tiny. You can call me Rufus or Tiny Rufus.
I don't want to call you that.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Well, thank you for coming out to see the show.
I will just call you the big one, and you are the little one.
Right. Have you seen the show since Rufus joined?
No, I don't care about the show. I don't give a single shit about the show. No. You see, Circus Master Felius, he owes me a lot of money. He's been running up his debts all across the Forgotten Realms, along with your little show. And he hasn't really been earning anything at all. And he gives you this, like, perfectly flashing smile. He's, like, constantly smiling. His face is super animated. He's, like, the complete opposite of Felius, who is constantly worried and stressed and angry. And this man says, "So, I was wondering if you would be interested in a little bit of work for me. To earn back the money which is owed."
What kind of work are you looking for?
Well, you see, Felius here.
And he points over to where Felius is, like, shouting at a bunch of other performers. He's like, "I don't understand! Why don't you lift?" And he is just, like, going into, like, he's like the angriest yoga teacher you've ever seen. And he's, like, doing this, like, workout routine, like, he's trying to show them how to do it, even though he's, like, 50 and really shouldn't be doing these moves anymore. And the guy speaking to you says,
"You see, he's run up a lot of money, and I have a feeling I'm not going to get it back. This worries me, as I'm sure you can understand."
Of course.
Sure. But I have to be honest. I don't really do anything but smash stuff. So unless you need something smashed, I don't know if I'm gonna be much help.
"Oh, well, I do need something smashed, big man. Do you see over there Circus Master Felius's head?"
Yes, it's on his shoulders.
Well,
where it
this
belongs.
displeases me. No, I do not believe that is where it belongs. I believe it belongs on my mantelpiece back in Neverwinter. You see, I've had to come to this shithole of a village to do this, and I don't want to have to do it myself, my good man. I don't want to have to hire one of my agents to do this. It could lead back to me. No, you are completely innocent in all of this. Why, you've been oppressed, haven't you? By this horrible man, Felius, this whole time, who's led you round all of the Forgotten Realms, running up debts and not paying you a single gold coin.
He's been a little bit worse than that, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, and you see, like, with his scantily clad clothes for the first time on his back, he has years worth of, like, layered scars from being whipped and tortured.
"Oh, you poor thing." There's not an iota of caring in his eyes.
So, you need his head, not on his body?
Preferably anywhere but, my good man. Anywhere but. You could remove it immediately, or you could wait to an opportune moment, you see. And if you did this for me, do you know what I would do for you?
No.
I would put an end to the lashes and the whips. I would free you from this servitude. I would even pay you a great deal of money as long as you never said who I was. Of course, you don't even know who I am, so how could you?
I don't know, strange man. Rufus looks to over to Farron and like pulls her off to the side and he says, I don't like him. He gives me the weebie jeebies in my belly.
Farron will like rub like his belly, one of his like belly rolls, and she's like, it's gonna be all right. Hang on. And she turns back around and says, see, the thing is, we don't really have anywhere else to go. So if we were to hurt him, we're sort of stuck with nothing and no one.
So you're
Otherwise, we
telling...
would have done something already.
Let me tell you, the amount of gold that I will give you for doing this task, let's call it 200 gold pieces. You could split it 100 each way. You could put down a deposit. I hear they're not very popular in Neverwinter, but you could put down a deposit on a house. Maybe a bar of your own, a life of your own. But for this small little task, just one little head. What's that?
Does it seem like he's telling the truth? Can I roll an insight on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god. And Rufus knows nothing as usual.
He is telling the truth. Yeah. This man wouldn't lie to you. He's posh.
Well, while you're speaking of deposits, maybe you can make one with us.
Oh, yes. How quaint. Yes, I could give you some money, then you would do the task. Yes.
See, I don't really like to hurt things. And so I'm having a little bit of a problem here. Strange man whose name I don't know.
It's better that way.
Going and killing a man who has given me shelter and food and a job.
Look at him. He is, what, 80, 90 years old? He's clearly like 53. 80, 90 years old? He's at the end of his tether already. And let me tell you this much. If you don't do this, then you know what I'm going to have to do.
Nope.
Would you like for me to tell you?
Yep.
Does it have to do with you getting odd heads as well?
It does indeed. It does. It involves every single one of the heads that you see around you right now being put on a pretty little stick.
All of them?
Yes. You see, I have to do it the messy way. I have to hire someone else to do it, and then, it gets grisly and gruesome. We could just put this all to rest right now. So much easier, isn't it? When you think about it, it's doing the man a kindness. So, how about you just sign this contract here?
And he goes into his jacket and pulls out this parchment. It's like a full-on contract that he's written out. And he kind of places it in front of you. It goes on and on. It's one of those contracts here.
Nobody's ever given me a contract before.
Consider yourself employed, my man. What you do is you take this quill here.
He gets out an inkpot and a quill from his pocket.
And you sign your name onto it. Or just an X, if you will.
I look to her and I'm like, I don't know. This doesn't feel like a good idea.
Do you see
I know
that?
it's a way out, but I don't know.
His hand's kind of like shaking his giant like sausage fingers as he reaches for the quill.
Farron will grab up the contract and read through it. And is there something I should roll to see if there's anything like fishy in here? Or I mean, I am reading it. So is there anything that says like your soul is mine?
Yeah, there's a lot of legal like jibber jabber in here. You can roll me like an intelligence check, right, just to see if there's anything that shows up as well.
Oh, no. Okay. Well. Okay. A 10.
There's definitely some things you don't understand in here that you might not be 100% comfortable signing over. It definitely, like, seems okay, but then it's sort of like, but what does this word mean? What does this clause mean? This refers to another law, which you have no idea what that means, As per, this law of the Forgotten Realms, act, such and such from the year, this and that. You're You're like, what does that mean? You know, I should seek legal counsel. But it does indeed promise the 200 gold pieces for the ending of a life of Master Felius.
Okay. She'll be like, maybe have a moment in a private to talk about it.
Of course. Take a moment to think about it, and then when you've thought about it, come back and sign the document.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, sir. Oh God.
I don't like it. It smells fishy.
I don't really like it either. I don't really know anything about the real world. I've been here my whole life.
I don't remember nothing before this freak show picked me up, so...
Maybe.
When he like raises his giant shoulders, he's like,
Yeah.
I mean, with all that gold, we could get out of here. We could leave.
But where do we go? We don't even know how to make this deposit. I don't even know really what that was. I was just saying.
Well, you did a great job. I believed you. I believed every word of it.
Well, I didn't really believe myself, but thank you.
So, okay, I have a thought, which doesn't happen frequently. What if we don't kill him, but tell him we will, and then we just leave before either person finds out?
Maybe that seems like the but then we don't get any money, and then where are we gonna go if we still? If we're gonna leave
But he said he was going to give us money up front.
Is that what deposit is?
I think so. At least it's my understanding. I've never had real money before. We could take it and leave. Just leave it all behind. We ain't got to kill no one.
That does sound really nice. With especially the not killing no one part.
No, I don't think I can do it.
She like looks back, and there's like a mirror back there where she's been like getting ready, and with the outfit that she's made to wear, you can see her back as well, which also has the similar scars. And she's like, well, maybe we make a plan and we figure out where we're gonna go next, and then we make the decision if we're gonna kill him,
Right.
or we're not gonna kill him.
Right. Okay. Well, we're supposed to perform here in a minute. We can't very well kill him till after. So
Okay, very true. We think about it. We think about it.
not think, do the performance, don't fake about the performance, and decide whether or not we're gonna rip the head off of the man who whips us regularly. Shit, I got it.
Right.
So okay. I'm getting sweaty. Are you sweaty? I'm sweating a lot.
Rufus, I got something. Okay. And she like pulls him in and like puts her hands on like either side of his face. And like, I got an idea. So what if we do both of them at the same time? So we do the performance, and during the performance we have an accident.
Oh my goodness. You are just the smartest, most beautiful lady I've ever seen. My goodness, we make it look. How do we do that? Do I like trip and fall on him? Smother him?
You could, that could work. Yeah, you could. He could get like caught up in your stomach or something. And
The
then
old pretend smother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't.
If he doesn't trip, I could have a misfire and
A misfire. Yeah, I push him into it, right in front of the target. I'll sneeze. And I'll give him a good push, and you can put the arrow right through his forehead. He didn't say that his head needed to be in like tact, right?
That's right. And I read the contract, and it didn't say anything about the head being in one piece.
No, it said a lot of other stuff I didn't understand, though. Okay. This is,
So
Agatha Christie is turning into Grey.
Can I say, I love this plan. I love this plan.
so
I'm a strong man and I'm an archer. Let's smother him.
So how about we go on early when he's meant to be doing the introduction where he's saying, ladies and gentlemen, all those things, and then he's supposed to say fire when I come out, right? I fire.
Right. You make your big surprise entrance.
So maybe when he says something else, I can come out and say, I thought you said fire.
Right.
Shoot him in the head.
I love it. I couldn't have thought of a better plan myself.
And then you come out to help him, but you trip. And
then I smother him.
Then you smother him.
Okay, so accidental arrow to the face, followed by smothering. Cool. Rufus goes, absolutely. I think this is, I've never made a murder plot before. Is it supposed to feel this icky?
Probably.
Okay. Well, then I think we're doing it right. Because I feel real gross.
Yeah, the bell goes for the performance, ding, 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 and Master Felius is like, come on.
Contract. We have to sign it.
Hurry. Oh, right. Can we run back over and sign the contract?
Absolutely. The guy with the long, really long, like super blonde hair is there.
Yes. Ready to sign?
We need to hurry. Where's your pen? Come on.
He hands the quill over an ink pot.
And she's realizing I don't think she's written before. It's just like,
write something.
She can kind of read.
Rufus takes the quill from her afterwards, but he's so nervous and he's so strong, he snaps it as he grabs it, and he's trying to fumble with it, and he gives up and dips his finger in the ink and just quickly with his big fat sausage finger scribbles something next to hers, and he says, so that's
Very
it.
pretty, Rufus.
That deposit?
He looks at you.
Yes, the deposit. Let's say 100 gold. Half now, half after.
I like it. Okay.
Perfect. And you're gonna be watching the show, right?
Of course I will. I'll be in the front row.
Good.
Right.
He hands over a pouch of gold pieces.
Yeah.
More gold than you've probably ever seen in your life.
Rufus looks down and has nowhere to put it on his scantily clad freak show outfit and goes,
you're gonna have to hide it somewhere better than this.
Could you tuck it in somewhere?
Rufus lifts a giant flap and tucks the gold underneath one of his body flaps.
There's that chicken wing you were looking for last week.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness, that's what that smell was. He pulls it out and makes room for the gold.
Amazing. So Rufus tucks and rolls.
Yes. Yep.
Amazing. This plays perfectly
We're a
into...
long way from Cholt.
I was about to say, have we broke the game yet? You guys didn't know what
I was going to say this plays perfectly into my next 2 minutes on there. Yeah, so you...
When you kill a party member in the first episode.
Yeah. So at this point, Miguel and Zephyr are arriving into the village, and there's a crowd gathered by the the huge stage, which is ready. There is a bunch of people who are they've kind of barred it off, so unless you have a ticket, you can't get in. I see people handing over their tickets as they go in, and kind of Dorman stops you as you ride up with your horses. Presumably you found some place to stable them in the village, so you can just be walking up. And the Dorman is a young lad. He says, "You got tickets?"
Oh, good. We've made it in time for the show. We are here, and I'm Zephyr. Certainly, if anyone looks, I'm sorry, not Zephyr. Miguel. I'm Miguel. That's Zephyr.
Nailed it.
Miguel, is he's in his armor. He's looking. he sort of gives the guy a wink, acts like he knows where he's going, and as though he is a performer.
Absolutely. Roll me a performance check here. Just to look like you're a performer. Oh, yeah.
22.
Oh, sorry, sir. It lets you right in. Zephyr, he stopped.
My valet is with me. Come along, my good friend Zephyr. Like the wind, we shall go in and
Right,
see.
just walk. Okay.
He lets you in, like in astonishment at all the colours that you're in. So you're in the kind of audience area. There's a stage, and it looks like people are starting to come onto it. The crowd is beginning to hush somewhat, and you see a circus master step onto stage and begin to kind of orate to the crowd about the performance which is about to begin.
I assume we will see a dashing archer who he will come out and shoot wonderful arrows at everything, and a lean, strong man with big muscles.
Are you going to take a seat in the crowd?
We march up right to the front.
Zephyr stays by the door, where whatever gives him the most vantage point, and lets Miguel peacock his way towards the front row. He will
I plop down. I see a handsome man with long
blonde hair.
And I saddle up right next to him.
Absolutely. So the performance begin, and
your hair is quite spectacular, my friend.
I know. The performance begins with Circus Master Felius beginning to orate. Now we have, and a bunch of different, basically freaks come on and do their performances, and there's some wild animals that they've managed to capture all the way from across Schultz and kind of ship them back over here. And of course, these poor dinosaurs are like completely, like down to the bone thin. They've barely been fed anything, and they kind of race across the track. And there are dwarves on the back of them who kind of run along as riding them, and they're kind of like, they do a sort of like a pretend dino races from Port Nyanzaru. Miguel would recognize this to be like completely out of whack from what should be the case. These dinosaurs are like really malnourished.
Are you kidding me? He sort of leans over to his friend. I'm telling you, my friend, this is one sorry performance here. Who would ever invest in a circus such as this?
Quite. It used to be something a bit more, I hear.
Looks around. I mean, is the tent in good shape? Is it? Is it?
Everything about this thing is pretty run down by this point.
I try to pride myself on always seeing the positive side of every situation. This place is a dump.
He nods and watches quietly as Circus Master Felius comes on and like whips the dinosaurs into like higher gear to like try and make them do something, because they're like clearly don't have much energy to them, so we kind of like whips them to try and get them to do something. They have had their teeth have basically been like cut out from their mouths, so they're not dangerous. They get a performer to come up, and he like sticks his arm into the mouth of the dinosaur and like chews on it, and he screams, and they do some fake blood. But clearly there's nothing there actually hurting him, because the dinosaur's teeth have been like taken out from his mouth. And the pitiful creatures go back back around off the stage after this short performance, and then it's time for Ferrin and Rufus's act to begin. So please talk me through this.
Yes.
Right.
Felius is off like in the wings of the stage, but he is visible to you.
Okay, so Rufus is not a good performer and never has been, so his act is not very flashy. He steps out, I guess, into the rink, trying
But it is
to perform.
fleshy.
Yeah. He's fleshy, and trying to perform. And he comes out and says, "I am tiny."
The crowd claps. Yay, tiny!
Karen's like in the corner, and she's like, "Yay!"
I smash, and I don't know, maybe there's like a rock or something or brick that he usually, and he comes over and kind of like and attempts to smash it with his fist to show off his strength.
Roll me a strength check.
Oh god. 15.
Oh yeah, you smash that rock.
It shadows. He picks up a piece and crushes it, like last piece in his hand. Oh, tiny!
They're very impressed. The crowd are very happy.
Yeah, Miguel like jumps to his feet in a standing ovation. Look at this glorious creature.
Even Zephyr in the corner is he offers the customary 80s slow clap for this one.
You, my friend, you are the most magnificent thing I've ever seen.
Oh, he looks around. Oh, me?
Why, yes.
Oh.
But you have a show to perform. I mean, I should not interrupt you.
Oh,
Continue.
no. He says, thank you. And he takes a bow, and you guys can see the, like, for the first time, that wear and tear on his back. And he says, and now for Farron! And he like shakes his hands because clearly we have like a dual act thing that happens.
Yeah, and she'll come out, and I totally imagine like, you know, competitive cheerleading where there's like one guy on the bottom and he holds a girl up by one hand. He's like holding her up by her foot, and she's like firing from the top of Rufus's hand.
Yes,
That's what it is.
Yeah, awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, so like she like hops out, and she's got her arrows and her bow, and sort of like skips right up, and Rufus is able to like pick her up and hold her up by like balance her on one hand, and she like aims at like there's like 3 arrows in her hand and 3 targets, and she fires to aiming for all of those.
All right. You can roll me an attack roll here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ooh, I'm scared.
God, me too.
22.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
The arrows kind of find their targets. 3 arrows find their mark with no difficulty whatsoever. At this point, I'm sure this is where things become interesting. As Felius kind of steps out, he's like, "Not much longer."
Rufus like tosses her in the air, like basket tosses her in the air,
Yeah.
and he like catches her as like part of the and as she's in his arms, he whispers, "Are you ready? This is the one."
I'm ready.
All right, and he tosses her forward to like continue their routine, and he kind of backs himself away and tries to get closer to the ringmaster so that he can trip and smother him upon
Beautiful.
cue.
Please roll me a performance check here, Rufus, as you're doing this, to make this look like some kind of act. Ooh. So you're like doing this. It's like you like fake trip the whole way across the stage, but like you don't trip once, you trip like 3 times. You're like, oh no,
Oh!
Yeah. It's like super obvious that you're doing this, and Felius is like, what are you doing as you're getting closer? He hasn't like gone anywhere, but he knows you're coming, right? And most of the audience see this happening.
Oh God.
I'm going to think, Blotter, this must be the good part.
Yeah, he says, oh, I think it is.
Yeah, and Rufus goes, oh no, I think I'm gonna trip. As he gets like close enough to actually potentially land on him, and he like gives that eye shot to to Farron and says,
Yeah.
I'm gonna trip.
There. I can't decide if I need to just shoot the guy or be like, I'll catch you. Like on the other side of the arena. Hold on to this arrow.
You can roll me a performance check here as well, Farron.
Distract
God.
them.
Hey, let me shoot you.
Oh my God.
Oh no, okay. 9.
These guys, the 2 performers in the group. So you're like, oh no, you need an arrow, like super obviously as well. Roll me an attack roll here. And are you shooting for Circus Master Felius?
Technically, I'll try to play it off and be like,
That's the performance check. I mean,
I guess I'll be like, I will distract the audience with an arrow,
right.
and I don't know where it's gonna land.
All right.
17.
17's a hit. Roll that damage.
Oh God. Okay. Whoa.
Oh.
My bad. I accidentally. No, it's not 24 damage. Everyone, please remain calm. It's 9 damage.
So this arrow goes out. Where are you aiming for on Circus Master Felius?
Probably like just the shoulder.
Yeah, you shoot him in the face and he dies. He's got 9 damage. He's fucking dead.
Oh,
You just kind of fire this arrow over straight into the eye.
yeah, Rufus sees it and he goes down.
Right. Okay. Roll me a quick like a dexterity check here, Rufus.
Oh,
To do this in time. Nice.
I may be big, but I am dexterous AF.
So like the arrow goes off like and it like hits him in the eye and like you grab him and like get on top of him, I guess, so no one can see what happened. And it like
I fall on
Yeah.
him. Oh my goodness! As I would like to try to cover the arrow that's now between his forehead and.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's like you've done one of those like, oh, I'm gonna cut off their arm, like gonna saw off this person's arm in the right. So you pretended that you've killed him almost, and the crowd are like, whoa, that was really realistic. So cheers go out from the crowd, you know.
Pick him up. And
Yeah. Rufus is gonna pick him up and say, oh, and try to play it off as if it's part of the act.
Yeah, the crowd go wild. They don't know what's going on.
He tosses him over his shoulder and exits the performance arena.
Excellent. Blood's dripping from the forehead wound.
Zephyr
my
turns
God.
to the guard right beside the tent and goes, "That's fantastic. That's the best thing I've ever seen."
Baron, like, pulls an arrow out and holds it like a baton and bows down. And she's like, thank you. It was all just an act. And goes.
Beautiful.
Rufus would like to start a slow clap from off stage.
Yeah, the slow clap begins and the audience is like, yeah, we can get behind it. These guys are killing people. Yeah, like, one of them's like, no necromancy on the body. Right.
Thank you, Sad.
Yeah, they throw like flowers and stuff at you guys. So the performance finished. You head back to the kind of back areas as the people are filtering out. Miguel and Zephyr. You notice that the blonde gentleman next to you, Miguel, is straightens himself up and heads behind the stage area. You are muted, Tosco. Yes, muted, Tosco. Yeah. Oh,
Kidding.
just still muted, Tosco.
Zephyr will go over towards Miguel and stand there, and he's continuing to say, "I've never seen anything like that. I've lived on a ship my entire life. I've been in port to port to port. I've never seen someone take a shot in the face like that. Never."
Well, you'll see they got the big man to get in front, so you didn't see that it actually did not hit him at all.
It looked to me from where I was standing, it looked like he got shot right in the face.
Oh no! I saw completely from where I was. I'm totally doing your accent. No, I saw exactly from me. You had a good angle. Mine, I could see all the trickery that was involved.
I liked it, Miguel.
Oh no, I'm not saying this. It was not a wonderful act. I will go to congratulate that magnificent creature. Did you see the size of that man?
He's a big guy. Is that the strong man? That has to be the archer. That has to
Can you imagine if there was another?
right? I mean, we've got the two best people here. She shot him right in the face.
I'm telling you, he did not shoot her in the face.
So
Miguel shot him right in the face.
Well, let's go back and ask her.
And truly, it's like, we will settle this right now.
love it. So you head backstage.
Sure enough.
Yeah, I mean, no one's stopping you from going backstage.
Yeah.
So
I
you
imagine
guys go back.
we're back there with the body and being like, did we pull the arrow out?
Yeah, Rufus is actually kind of crying over this dead body.
Are you in like your own private tent or something at this point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
can I take him back to his tent,
Sure,
to the
sure.
like
The
ringmaster's
main
tent? So
ringmaster's
that's
tent,
what
yeah.
Rufus would have done to try to like hide it. And he's like, I don't know. I've never pulled an arrow from a skull. How do you do it?
And she'll like put her foot on his head and pull the arrow and like be like, well, you grab me by the waist and we pull up.
Okay. I put my hand like on his chest to like hold him down while she pulls it free.
Yeah, with a sickening squelch.
1.
Out it comes.
Well, Rufus, I'm sorry. I just had a little. It was disgusting.
he says, "Oh, we could make it look like an accident."
I think it did look like an accident.
I think it did. Maybe we just. Can I tuck him in his bed?
Sure.
I'd like to take I'm gonna put him in his bed. We'll just roll him on his side, and just cover him up, and nobody will know till the morning, and we'll be long
He
gone.
was shot in his sleep, my lord.
Yeah. He has a hole in his forehead.
Someone walked into his room and shot him in the head. I love it. There's a little kind of like a polite cough and an at the entrance to the tent, and a blonde gentleman with huge long hair.
I still have like my foot on his face and we're like pushing down on his stomach.
Absolutely.
Hello.
He just like tosses a gold pouch towards you. Excellent job. Now I doubt we'll ever see each other again. Enjoy your new lives and try and stay away from any guards if this comes out.
Good sir, one moment.
Yes.
You just gotta leave?
You're
You're not gonna help us, like, get rid of the body? You said you wanted his head for your mantle.
Dear man, did you not even read my contract? No, I cannot stay around any longer. We can no longer be associated with one another. Needless to remind you about Clause 27b, that if you are to seek me out or mention this arrangement to anyone else, then I will seek you down, and I will lop off your own heads. All right.
So you don't want the head?
Do whatever you want with it. If you find it, you come into possession of it, feel free to, well, mail it to me. But of course you don't have my address, so how could you do that?
And that's against the clause you were just talking about.
Against the clause. So, ta-ta now, enjoy.
Oh, okay. Oh, Rufus wants to just choke him so bad. Just choke him! Just choke him!
He steps away. He's
okay, all right.
He's gone. But he's. You're not left alone for too long as you guys like headed out of the tent. Miguel and Zephyr kind of almost run into you.
Like as we exit, Farron is like, "Good night, sir.
Sleep well."
You said you were so tired as we were leaving.
In the
Miguel
morning.
puts out his hand to Zephyr. You owe me some money.
I owe you nothing. She shot him in the face.
She did not shoot him in the face. He is asleep now.
He points his finger at Farron. You shot him in the face, didn't you?
See?
It looked like you shot him in the face.
Dad,
He's starting to doubt himself. I saw it go in. I saw the fletching. You shot him in the face.
Rufus is beginning to sweat, and he's like, "We didn't do nothing. It wasn't our fault. They paid us a gold. We didn't mean to shoot him. It was an accident." And Rufus like spills, like vomits forth all the truth.
like Farron, like
Rufus.
It's in the contract. We're not supposed to.
I'm sorry.
Zephyr points at both of them as they speak, and his finger moves back and forth with each a proclamation of guilt. And he turns and looks at Miguel and goes, "Ha ha!"
Miguel hands you a silver. Damn it.
Farron is like, "Rufus, I just realized something."
What?
And she like leans in really close. She goes, "I got the murder weapon."
What?
She's like holding the bloody arrow that they just pulled out of his face. She's like, "Oh!"
She like Rufus like takes it from you and then realizes that was a bad idea because now he looks like the guilty one and he passes it back to you and there's like this fight of like who's gonna I don't want it. You're supposed to get rid of it.
Well, we couldn't just leave it in there because it's obviously my arrow.
What's going on over here? You see one of the town guard coming by, seeing a bit of a bloody arrow and a bit of a ruckus. He's flagged by a couple of other guards who are, been on the gate, been looking after the place because, there are wild dinosaurs around after all. And he steps towards the group of you. And at this point...
After party. Join us, my friends.
Yeah, Rufus takes the arrow and tries to quickly hide it under one of the rolls.
We'll get back to you guys because we've got a 2-minute side to do here. So
Yeah,
we'll let you guys on tenterhooks for a little bit.
I would love to listen in on this one.
Yeah, right? Good luck.
All right, we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes' time here. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, we're going to head into our second tube insight of the night, my friends. Governments, religion, magic, converting the realms. Oh man, that section was a lot of fun. We're going to hit on a couple other bits that we probably hit on in the first season as well, just about improv play at the beginning here. When they're like, can we do this? Then yes, damn, of course they can. That was a hell of a lot of fun, and I didn't plan that. Believe it or not, I didn't plan it, but man, that was good. So, talking a little bit about governments, religion, magic. These are the three things that I want to talk about, first of all, today for our first episode, because we touched on some of these things in today's campaign so far. First of all, we've talked about the government. There is basically a new regime has come to Neverwinter. These wardens have come along, and they have changed things about the law, about what is legal in regards to magic, and we're going to come into a lot more either later tonight, probably later tonight, and or next week as well. Insofar as the laws of the land actually have a really big effect on the world that you're making, because if something is legal, then it means that everyone could do that, right? In theory. If something's illegal, then of course they can't fucking do that so easily. So they're going to have to go out of their way to do it. And of course, when certain things are illegal, then you can think about things like black markets, you can think about thieves, guild, and rogues, which we actually touched on a little bit when we had She Speaks in Tongues, who runs this import-export business out of Port Nyan Zaru, and of course she's working with the Zintarim. Yes, lore is fun. The lore is fun. And so we're playing a little bit of the lore in this part of Reinventing the Realms, because we're changing the fact that whereas usually magic is legal for you to do as long as you're not like raising the dead or killing anyone or hurting anyone, in this case, this new government, the Wardens, are coming along into Neverwinter, and they're enacting a new regime, and they're saying, hey, you guys can't do any kind of magic aside from holy magic, and you have to be ordained in order to do it. It's a bit like being a member, you can't be like a practicing priest unless you're like ordained, right? They've got a similar thing going on that around, and this has really fundamentally changed our world a lot, because whilst at this point they're just doing magic and having fun, in a little while we're going to be getting into an environment where it becomes very dangerous for them to do magic. And how does this affect everyone in the world? That's a question I like to ask myself a lot with the governments. How does a ruling government affect people in this world? Well, the people of Neverwinter are becoming afraid of magic. They're starting to turn against magic users, perhaps, because they are buying into this idea that radiant magic is the only way to go, because it kills all of the undead hordes, and other forms of magic might cause necromancy, as far as everyone knows. They might not... access to like education on magic is becoming limited as well, so people beginning to believe superstitions and rumors that are going on. And of course, either in this episode or next, we're going to get to the College of Mages in Neverwinter, which is a quest destination at the moment. So we're going to learn a lot about how that has changed and how the government's ruling. And of course, we are also going to learn a little bit about how they punish people, of course, because we're going to get to the section here of the guards about what's going on. So is it if you're like a magical being, can you be arrested? So we're going to actually codify here in the game for the players what is considered legal and illegal when this law has come into effect today, okay? So something that I like to bring in the first session is to kind of set these examples for them, right? Set these baselines for the rest of the campaign. We talked about this in the first season, sort of setting up the main themes of our campaign, and these are the three that we want to go with in this campaign. Set up there's a different government, there's different religion in the realms, which is a big thing as well in the realms particularly, and magic just works so much differently in our current like age and timeline that we're in. Regarding religion, we've done something interesting there with the Wardens as well, and with Neverwinter as a whole. We're going to expand from Neverwinter as well, fear not, and talk about the different places. We're going to start writing some of that with you guys as well. But religion is going to be done differently here because of the Wardens, again, have basically unified everything into one central organization. The Temple of Bahamut, Lathander, all these different organizations and temples are coming together and working as one unified force to defend the city. I also thought it would be interesting in this campaign because it is often so much that trope where all of the world has gone to pot and none of the government forces are doing anything really to help. They're all kind of getting in the way of the four special party members who are the only four who can save the world. And to turn this on its head a little bit, to challenge the players and the characters somewhat, and to say, actually, this body who are, this governmental body who are defending the country are doing a good job. they're not hurting people yet, right? At this point, they are the good guys. And of course, we may see these wardens being setting up as a little bit more of a grey organization rather than just white and black, which I really enjoy. I can't talk about alignments, but yeah. So religion is how it's affecting, and the magic as well. You know, the realms are so like they're quite high fantasy, and I really enjoy that about them. But for this part of our campaign, I wanted to challenge that with the players as well, saying you're in the realms, but the realms are different. It's something new. It's something a little bit more interesting than what you might be used to. A change of flavor, a change of pace, and to see how they deal with that, and to see how that affects people in our world, which is so innately filled with magic. So there's a couple of things I like to think about that I've going to try and set up here. Some of them we have set up, some of them we're going to set up here in this next scene and the next episode as well, about the fundamental changes. These are the 3 main changes that we're making to the realms, and throughout the rest of our story we're going to start changing a few things as well. I don't want to spoil too much for you guys because I've got some pretty exciting things involving the astral sea coming in as well, which is going to be a big one because that comes under magic. Because when magic changes in this realm, how does magic change in all other realms? Mordekainen's Tome of Foes, I'm coming for you, my friend. Gimme. I want May so I can talk about all of this different multiverse stuff. But we are going to touch on a little bit of the multiverses throughout this series, because the Astral Sea in particular is going to play a bit of a role in our story. So keep that in mind. First thing we talked about today, where to even begin. We talked about the different points of inspiration where you can find and start the idea of thinking about a campaign. For instance, this one just being, what if I did the Forgotten Realms, but kind of flipped it on its head? What if all of the things that we know about the realms are no longer true? You can come up with a million ideas for different campaigns, I'm sure. Steampunk, vampire-themed campaign. Pick a word and you can create a world from that. How does the governmental bodies in a world, in a city, change the people, change the world and universe that they're living in? How does religion work? If the government is different, then government and religion often go hand in hand historically. And how does that change things? How will that develop throughout the rest of our campaign as well? Is another question I like to ask myself at the beginning of a campaign and begin to answer as we go throughout it. And then, of course, magic. If religion and government and magic are all tied together, as they often are in the realms, how do all of the changes to A and B affect C? And how does that affect D, which is like everything else in the world? How does this affect the gods? How does this affect, deaf and undeaf, bringing back people from the dead and stuff like that? So all interesting concepts I like to bring in at the beginning of a campaign just to set my baseline for, okay, I know what this world is. In this world, the governing body is this. The religions of the world are these. And the magic in this world is like this. Because they're the 3 cool things that I like about D&D in particular, for me personally. And they give me a nice, good grasp of the world. And also, I think it's an important point for like a certain level of realism in this world. That in this world, it's not always static. There isn't always just one governing body. There isn't always one religion. Throughout history, we see a huge amount of changes in, governments, religions, not magic, of course, but if you put magic next to religion, then yeah, you kind of do, right? And this kind of tumultuous nature of change from war with these undead hordes and Asarak and everything that happened in Tomb of Annihilation, I think is the perfect wheel of change to precipitate this strangeness that is going on in the realm. So you can find a reason to do that in your own campaigns, or not. It may have already happened. There may have been a cataclysmic event, which means that there's no magic in your world, or there's tons of magic in your world, or there's millions of demons in your world, or everyone's a vampire in your world, that kind of thing. So bringing something different and bringing these 3 aspects in are just a good place to start, and there's so much more to talk about world building. We've got like 24 episodes to talk about world building. We're going to go into a bunch of different aspects, but hopefully this first little section has given you a couple of ideas to start the ball rolling, and throughout the rest of the weeks, hopefully you guys get a little bit inspired and get a little bit more interested. And I would love to hear about your own worlds that you're writing as well. And during the rest of these sections that we do throughout the rest of the season, I'd love to hear from you guys about what you're up to and about the worlds that you're creating. So feel free to put stuff in chat, and I'd love to read it. But we're going to go back. We're going to go back over to our players now for this next scene, and let's get to it. All right, players, we're back with you now. I hope you guys are ready. Feeling good at this point? Yeah.
Sure.
Guards. Woo!
Absolutely. So, you have been approached by these 3 guards who seem to be a little bit concerned about what's going on. The lead guy is wearing chainmail. He's a little bit burly. Probably is down to the tavern too many nights a week. He's got that kind of beer belly paunch to him. And the 2 behind him are quite large tabaxi. Yes. So he says, all right, what's going on here? What's that arrow? Looks like that's blood on that.
It is part of the act, yes, my friends?
It's
We are having
fake.
an after party after our new act. Congratulations. He pulls out his bottle of Malibu and goes, you, my friend, you look like a man who enjoys his drink. Have you tried the Malibu, the drink of my home country?
Roll me a persuasion check. Does look partial to a Miguelaboo, as it's being named in chat.
A Miguelaboo.
Yeah.
It is 12.
He thinks about it. He really thinks about it. He's like, me, Malibu, I could be
start
away in the
pouring.
bar. Yeah, and he's like, no, not right now, I'm on duty, maybe afterwards. But we can't take no bribes either. You see, me and my friends here seem to reckon that that looked a little bit too real. You know what I mean? A little too real. Can I
Aren't they
see...
wonderful, our performers? Of course it looked real.
See, sir, I've been training with them since I was a little girl. So, you know, I like to think of myself as a little bit of an expert. So it's a good shot, and plus no one can actually see past Rufus. He blocks it, so I doubt you could really see where it
That may
went.
well be, that may well be. Can we speak to Master Felius? We've got business with him as well.
Oh, he's a little sickly. It's why he went down so fast. So I gave him some of my famous soup and I put him right to bed.
Well, really can't wait. You see, Mr. Felius is part of an ongoing investigation that we're dealing with right now.
Do you mind me asking what kind of investigation?
You could roll me a persuasion check here, Rufus.
Except he's not persuasive at all. He's not persuasive at all.
Yeah, he's like, well, I'm afraid it's strictly confidential, my friend.
Right. So
Let's just say it's very
As-
important.
As members of the performing troupe here, shouldn't we be able to know what we are being investigated for? It is only to know what we are accused of.
You roll me a persuasion check here.
Also, at this point, Zephyr is going to make it very known I'm not a member of this troupe. I was in the crowd.
right, he's our best audience member.
He came to see me.
I came for the performance. I did not come to
Like
see
I
him.
said, he came to see me. That's
I
the
did not come to see him.
He's like his head's just looking back and forth between the two of you. You came to see me. He did not. Yeah, on a 25 persuasion, he's like, well, suppose it might as well, seeing as you are part of the troupe, most of you. Looks over towards Zephyr. Well,
groupies, you know.
he nods as if he knows, but he totally doesn't know. He says, well, seems that Mr. Felius has racked himself up quite a lot of debt and then gotten into the wrong crowds. He's got a lot of criminal contacts, it would seem, working in Neverwinter that are particularly powerful. We're trying to track him down, and he's been, he said that he'd have information for us today. It's invaluable.
So here's the thing. He's asleep, and well,
And I'm his money keeper. How much does he owe you?
He said he doesn't owe me anything. He owes a lot of dangerous people a lot of money. In particular, a group known as the Zentarim, bunch of back alley thieves and assassins. They work on the docks a lot of the time. Call themselves import-export businesses. You know, those sorts. Bad sorts.
Do I recognize these tabaxi?
You don't.
Okay. Just double checking. I figured they couldn't get here that fast, but just check.
Yeah, they'd have to have teleported probably.
But
Well-
this is definitely something that you need to look into, obviously, and we completely understand that. But, sir, if you wake him up early, we're the ones who are gonna take the beating. And she like turns around and moves her like really long red hair, and you can see the scars on her back. And she's like, "If you please, just for our sake, wait until he wakes up."
Yes, Rufus tries to put on his best cute face, his big eyes.
Roll me a persuasion check here, Farron.
With advantage.
It's gonna be a straight roll.
No.
14.
Not bad. So,
Add a visual aid.
he's like,
I see to it. Perhaps I can come back in the morning.
We would real appreciate it.
And Rufus like claps him on the back.
Thank you so much.
You saved us. You did. Thank you.
Yeah, well,
he looks towards the two tabaxi guards that with him. He says,
got these 2 new ones with me, you know, training the green ones and all that, so, I'll see you down the tavern.
Right? Yes. Right?
I will look for you there. I will save you some of my Malibu.
Yes, I drink lots. Taverns, I love them.
Well, then, why don't you come down for a drink later on? Or now? But you're working it.
But of course, you can meet us after you finish getting out of your costumes. We wouldn't want to have our good friend, the strong man here, go there in quite so scantily clad. I of course
Right.
don't mind. Give him a wink.
This is not my best lawn cloth, so I'm just gonna go and change my gear.
all right,
and
all right.
yeah, we'll see you there.
But of course, I will escort you on your way, so I know where to come back and bring everyone to.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Zephyr
If we
looks
have a
at
little
Miguel
swig
like
along the
crazy.
way. That's not too bad, right? I put my arm around his shoulders.
he nods. Yeah, along the way, he'll introduce himself as Sergeant Tasker, which I'll put a spelling for in Roll20.
Yep.
So he heads off to the bar with Miguel. Zephyr, are you going with them?
No.
All right. God damn. All right.
No, Zephyr realizes that there is a problem here. After he double checked the letter to make sure that these were in fact the people that they were supposed to get, and they weren't sadly mistaken, he will saddle up to them as soon as the guards and Miguel leaves, and he says, "Hey, we're gonna get out of here. It ain't gonna be long before they see it inside there."
Right. Well, yes, come on, groupie, to our tent, and we'll show you a good time.
No.
And Rufus leads Zephyr back to their tent, trying to like play it off, because obviously you're just an audience member, so we can have a private place to have this conversation.
No one's watching. We can just get your shit and we'll go.
Right.
Okay. So Rufus begins like once we make it to the tent, he kind of begins packing his stuff and having the conversation with you.
So we might have done something bad.
Yes, you shot that man in the face.
No, she shot him in the face.
Yeah, well, you knew about it.
I landed on him.
Which, right, that's an error in itself.
Pointing fingers, okay? He wasn't a nice man, and
Who was it?
we.
I don't care. I don't care. He could have been nice. He could have been mean. It doesn't matter. Let's just grab your stuff and we'll get out of here because you're apparently wild cards and on a special list, like I am.
My name's on a list?
Believe it or not, yes. I checked 3 times.
What kind of list? Her name too?
Oh my god, it's because they already know that we killed him. They already know.
We didn't.
Yes. Right. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, you have a name, and where's that breeze coming from?
My name's Zephyr. So, there, we got that all out of the way.
Right.
Let-
Does this list belong to someone? Is it your list?
Listen, I'm not the one that talks at
Oh.
all. He went down to the bar, the one that you want to talk with and saddle up to.
Oh, the pretty man.
Yes, the
He
pretty.
was. Anyway, and she
No,
goes and like
I
packs
don't want
up
to hear
the
about
floor
it.
and, like,
Yeah, Rufus dumps what little he has, like packs it up in his barrel and like throws his more like his robes on, and cowl and all of that, and anything that you can't carry, you can toss in his pack too.
She's got
Um,
like a big jacket that she get, like a military-esque style jacket that she goes to put on, and she goes, "So we're meeting your friend at the bar?"
Yeah. We'll
And then
find
she
it.
doesn't put the jacket on and swings it over. Just like, but it's hot around here.
How attached are you to everyone that's here? I mean, you have other friends here? Like,
No.
I saw some freaks and, I mean, I don't mean to say anything like that, but, I'm a freak too. And he takes his hood back a little bit,
Wow.
You have friends here, though. You didn't like the man you shot in the face, but they're the people you like.
No, they're mean
You
to
don't
me.
like, don't like anyone? All right.
Except for her. Everybody treats me like I'm a beast.
Okay, I can buy you some time then. Do you guys have a bottle of hard liquor?
Rufus like shamefully reaches under his pillow in their tent and pulls out a bottle. He says, this is all I got. And there's like this much left in the bottom of it.
Do you have another bottle of hard liquor or somewhere where you can get something? Oil. How about oil? Do you have oil for the lamps, sir?
Oh,
You have that. I have to put it on Rufus's thighs so they don't get all chafy.
it's true.
Stop. Let's back the conversation up to the point where you say, yes, we have oil. And I will attempt to rip that from my brain.
It's a problem. It's don't body shame me.
I'm not body shaming you. I'm mind shaming you.
We broke Sydney.
Oh, yeah, we have that all.
It's right here, and he pulls it out of like a chest and hands it over to you.
All right, now listen. You got a dead body in there. They're gonna find it. The guy's gonna come back in the morning. He's gonna find the body. He's gonna know it was you. You had an arrow with fake blood on it.
He's not gonna know because he
No,
knows
he's not.
that
No,
there's an assassin after him. He's not gonna think it's us.
Right. But just, hear me out for a second. How about we burn it to the ground?
Are you gonna burn all of it?
I'm gonna light his tent up.
Rufus thinks long and hard about this plan.
Could you do that part? Because that wasn't really in our contract. So if you could handle that and we meet you down at the bar.
I'll do the arson. I'll leave all the murder to you.
We are
Great.
sure.
He leans him to Farron again and is like,
I got that feeling in my tummy again. I don't like it. We're just killing people and burning stuff. It feels wrong.
Well, Rufus, we're not going to burn anything. We're going to go get something from this place called a bar.
Right. Oh, okay.
So we look for a big bar of something.
Bar. Okay. Sure. Are you sure you got this? Stay away from them. They're dinosaurs. They'll try to eat you, even though their teeth are flat.
Well, you can take me back to his tent and then we'll walk away. It'll take a while for it to catch.
Okay, so you do want us to come with you?
I am going to walk inside the tent. I'm going to light his body and the inside of the tent on fire. And then I'm going to walk out. It'll start to smoke in about a minute or two, and then it'll catch and light in about 3 or 4. That'll give us plenty of time to walk down there. We will be anywhere near it when it starts to go up. He fell asleep with a pipe. He fell asleep with a cigar, a candle.
Oh, he does that.
He does. He smokes them nasty cigars.
Boom, look, that's how it works.
Okay.
So I'll keep watch as you burn the body.
Good.
All-
And I'll oh God, I'm getting sweaty again.
It's okay. Me too. I'm always sweaty. Shh, it's gonna be okay. We're just making sure nobody knows so we can't get in trouble.
You shot a man in the face.
No, he was a mean man.
And
Wait, you're
wasn't
using
the whole face.
description. You just shot a man in the face. We're gonna burn the body, and
We
then
got-
no man shot in the face.
Right. Okay, let's do it. We're gonna make
Okay, wait. Shh. Who's got the oil?
Rufus tosses the little bottle. You do.
No, we need more like lantern oil. Oil. You get the thigh oil that I've tried to rip from my brain, but
Well, this. I only carry a small bottle of thought. All right, I know I'm a big man,
It only
but
takes a dime-sized amount each time.
if you want more
top it up
oil,
regularly.
I heard there's some in the storage tent. We use it to light all the lanterns there's some of it. We just have to get it.
Yeah, Rufus is rationed out fire oil. He can't buy in bulk. He has to get. Yeah, there's a quartermaster. Yeah.
big man with the supple thighs.
Yes.
Go more oil.
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
Do you guys have a lantern in here? I look around.
Yeah. There's a lantern. Yeah, so
Is
you can
there a
use.
light
Yeah.
source? Okay.
Yeah. There's a light source.
I look around. Is there another lantern? There usually is two. I take the other one.
Sure. There are plenty of lanterns around.
and he's got one in his tent too. He's got the lantern. I put it out myself when I put him to bed.
All right. Zephyr walks back with them. He has a lit lantern and an unlit lantern. He cracks open the unlit lantern, pours it all over the corpse, all up in the wall beside the tent wall beside him, and then he puts the still lit lantern, takes the hood off of it, lays it on the body, and lets it rock off, and he starts walking out the door as it
Beautiful. At this point, we're going to cut back to Miguel. So, Miguel, you have found yourself back in a bar with two Tabaxi guards along with Sergeant Tasker, who is investigating it seems like a big conspiracy about Lazentarim, who is organization in imports-exports, who you might have met already. And Tasker kind of sits down at the bar. The two Tabaxi kind of go back into a corner of the bar and don't sit with him. And he's just sort of at the bar. He looks at you. He's like, so, what'd you like to drink? Oh, Malibu, right?
Yes, my friend. Are you buying? Or
Sure.
I, of course, can buy you one as well. I'm not sure if you'll allow me to pour out. I look at the bartender. My friend, I brought some of my native drink with me. Do you mind? I'll be happy to tip you for some glasses for me and my good friend here.
He shrugs his shoulders. Sure.
I put a couple silver on the bar and I kind of do that lean over and just grab some glasses. It's like I'm sitting at home.
And,
I
full of drinks for Tasker. He's thankful. He kind of swigs it down like a sailor. And he's like, well, it's just this bad business having to come into town. Usually I don't have to come out in Neverwinter, but this case seems like a pretty big one. We've been working on it for months, you know.
Have you indeed now? No, your friends here, they do not seem as sociable as you and I. But how long has they been a part of your detail? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, that's right. They, sometimes I have to train a few rookies, you know. I've been on the force for best part of 20 years now. So
experienced man, I like that.
They send me the green ones to train up or spit out. I've got these ones just as I was leaving Neverwinter, so a couple of hours ago. Can't say I even remember their names, but we'll see. In a week's time, they'll either be here and they'll be ready to fight, or they'll be gone. Back on the street, most likely.
So, my friend, tell me, how many other Tabaxi have recently joined your forces? They are very common in my home continent, but I did not realize they'd come so far into your area, especially to Neverwinter.
I wouldn't say they're the only two on the force exactly, but must be one of the only few. Not many of them, but
all recent additions.
Yeah, I'd say so. But then, it's only recently all that bad business in Chult has been finished, so we've got on ships all over. People coming out from Chult, back up here.
True.
Now everything's sorted and the wardens are here,
He lifts a glass, pours another one in, lifts a glass, and says, "To our friends lost in Schult, all affected by this horrible curse that fell upon the land. To the fallen, my friend." And
He raises a glass to that. And Sergeant Tasker can drink with the best of them. After a while...
it's a good thing because Miguel is the best of them.
Indeed. After a while, he's like, right, I should probably get back to my room.
Where is your room, my friend?
I'm staying upstairs, just for the night, mind.
Is this a nice place? I'm looking for lodging myself.
He kind of shrugs his shoulders. He's like, I don't know, seems alright to me. Just cop a piece for the night and seem to like me. Some places aren't so friendly if you're wearing a uniform, but seems well enough to me. The beds ain't too flea-ridden from what I saw.
Have you met Mutt? He is a wonderful Orcan bartender, close to Neverwinter.
I can't say I have. But I have to stop by his place sometime.
For sure, he is quite a charmer, that one. He wants to experience all there is to experience. Tell me, Sergeant Taskar, do you like to experience everything there is to experience in life?
Well, not sure what kind of question that is. I guess I've seen my fair share in my years in the force, But I don't go seeking it so much these days. I let danger come my way.
Well, I do not consider myself dangerous, but I do have a half bottle of Malibu here if you want to continue our conversation.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh, yeah. 17. He gives him a smile, his, rainbow eyes looking deep into Sergeant Tasker's.
I guess we could chat a bit more up in my room. Yeah, why not? Bring the bowl.
Let us adjourn then. You can tell me more about this Zentrum and what all bad business they have begun.
Of course. I
keep an eye as we go up on what is going on with those two tabaxi.
Yes, as you head up the staircase with Sergeant Tasker to the room, you notice that they are following you up. You come to a landing room, which has, like 10 or 20 rooms on either side. It's like walking into a hotel and going up to the first floor. You just see rooms on either side. There's two entrances up here. So on this side of the bar, there's a staircase up. On the other staircase of the bar, there's a staircase up. So there are two tabaxi who are walking towards you from opposite. And there are two tabaxi, the guards, who are walking behind you.
It looks like we have friends who would like to join us. Perhaps I look to them all very closely and with a big smile and go, perhaps we can all speak in tongues together.
Ooh. Yeah, roll me a persuasion check here, Miguel.
Come on, keep rolling good. 16.
Not bad. One of the tabaxi from opposite you, he's about 30 feet away at this point. The others are just like behind you, so probably 15, 20 feet away. The one that you're looking at, he kind of like nods at you.
I give him a wink and a nod and a big old smile.
And Sergeant Tasker, he's kind of like puts his hand towards his sword uncomfortably, notices the two guys behind him, notices the two in front of him, and he's like, I don't like the look of this. Or, not one bit. And he calls out to the two in front, do I have any business with you, gentlemen? And one of them steps forward and says, yes, you do. Would you like to step into this room and we can have a little conversation, Sergeant Tasker?
I will only allow this if I can go with him. I would hate for something to happen to my new friend. And I give him another big smile and a wink to the tabaxi.
He nods, and he opens the door to Sergeant Tasker's room, which shouldn't be unlocked, and it kind of opens it up, and points for Tasker to walk inside. And he does. As he's got his sword like half drawn, but he hasn't initiated a combat yet. So he steps into the room. Go ahead.
I look to the two, because there's 4 in the hallway basically right now.
Right.
The 2 that just opened the door and goes, perhaps 2 on the door while the 2 of you join us inside. We wouldn't want to be interrupted now, would we?
You can roll me, you roll me another persuasion check here, Miguel.
God. Oh, a 10.
Yeah, he shakes his head.
No, I think instead we will all go inside and speak with the sergeant.
And he like motions for you to go inside.
It's been a while since I've had quite so many men all in the same room at the same time.
He makes you walk inside. They will push you in if you don't go, but I'm sure at some point Miguel will step in.
I go in.
Yeah.
Playing the fool.
Yeah. The 4 of them kind of surround you in this room. The door is closed. And they lock it again with the key. And Sergeant Tasker turns. There are like 2 windows in this room. You're on like the first floor. He's clearly like checked out the window to see if that's an option. And he's got his hand on his sword. The 4 Tabaxi say,
So, Sergeant, how much have you learned about the fate of Master Filius?
And gonna roll the die here. Tasker says,
well, not much. He's in bed right now. I don't know who that is. Filius, did you say?
And he's like totally contradicted himself, right? He's just said he knows where he is, and he doesn't even know. Then he says he doesn't know who he is. So he's not a good liar, Sergeant Tasker. This kind of slightly pot-bellied guard from Neverwinter is clearly a bit out of his depth here in the lying game. The Tabaxi draws his short sword from his scabbard with a long. It's got like a long, slow movement. He wants him to watch him draw the blade out, and he kind of runs the blade in front of him.
How about you think again?
And he kind of places the blade to Tasker's throat.
Tell us the truth, or we will kill you, Sergeant.
Oh, there's no need for that. The ringmaster's dead.
Roll me a persuasion check.
13.
Yeah, the guy looks at you.
He cannot be dead.
Why would that be? Why could he not be dead?
How did he die?
Arrow to the face.
And who would kill Filius?
Anyone who didn't want him informing on you and your friends.
Well, if that is the case, then they have certainly saved us a job. But the only problem is now that Sergeant Tasker knows this. And you will tell them, won't you, Sergeant? You will go back and report on us.
And Sergeant Tasker, he kind of, like, he's sweating a little bit, the blade is still to his throat. He kind of,
it is my duty. You are all criminal scum. And I will report on you. Oh, such a shame, Sergeant Tasker. Such a shame.
I slit our Sergeant Tasker's throat.
Ooh, okay. Give me an attack roll there.
It's a 13.
Ooh. So yeah, you would have had advantage on that, but you do that, and Tasker leaps into action. The Tabaxi is going to try and like stab him as well, as he's got a blade to his throat. He doesn't exactly know what's happening, but he understands that there is a fight happening. So he's going to first, in kind of like a reaction, basically try and stab Tasker. He'll have advantage on it.
That works.
As I mentioned before, on a 22, he's going to stab him. And what's your short sword, D6? Yeah. He stabs Tasker in the throat for 8, and just kind of like runs him through the throat, basically. And it's a flurry of motion which happens. Basically, Miguel goes to slice his throat. Tasker like jumps back in surprise. The blade to the throat just goes straight in, right through the throat and like out through the back of his neck. And the Tabaxi who was talking has run him through more out of panic than real intent to have done that immediately. Surprised that you were doing that. And he looks towards you as Tasker's body like falls back.
What was that? Moving fast, I see. Maybe
I'm counting in my head. Time. She who speaks in tongues cannot be disappointed in the trivialities of leaks. She sent me herself. You know your position, I know mine. I have this taken care of.
Roll me a persuasion check at advantage.
Come on. 24.
He buys it and kind of like puts the short sword back into his scout. He doesn't look happy about it, though.
Fine.
We all have our place. Oh, sorry, I got my right voice. We all have our place, my friend. Mine is to take care of these little trivialities. You have your mission as well. I will take care of this body. Report back. Let them know what has happened.
Very well.
And he kind of like does a small little bow to you, and yeah, then he turns and leaves.
I drop down immediately and use healing light on Sergeant Tasker and heal him to bring him back from the brink of death. I was counting the whole time, trying to get rid of them, so I was within before he would pass completely away.
Roll me a heal. Roll me the spell, rather.
It's my ability. I have
right.
2d6s with being a celestial monk. So
Thingy.
let me still need to roll it. Sorry, I'm nervous. I was like, oh shit, if this goes wrong, I'm so screwed. 2d6. I put my hand over his mouth as I do this so he doesn't scream. That's 8.
That's the exact amount you needed to bring him back. So as you heal him, what does Miguel's magic look like?
It is this prismatic, rainbow-hued, radiant light that passes out of his hands, and he's like, "We still have. Don't leave me now. We still have the rest of the night, my friend."
He kind of like coughs and splutters.
I have my hand over his mouth. I'm just, shh.
What just happened?
I just saved your life. We have to keep you hidden and protected. Your law enforcement apparently has been infiltrated by some bad business.
We have to get back to the city. We have to warn them.
Stay hidden. Let me see. We will wait till my friends arrive. They were going to meet us here at the bar. I hope that they make it, but until then, don't forget you're a dead man.
Nods. And coming back to Farron, Rufus, and Zephyr, as the fire begins on the tent, you're headed back towards the tavern, correct?
Yep. Yep.
As we're walking towards the tavern, Zephyr will pick up where he was staying, and he says, "Now, the worst of it's behind us. We just keep working forward. I'm sure Miguel has everything taken care of. We'll have to pull him out of some bar, bed, or something, but it'll be fine." As
you get to the tavern door and open it up, there are 4 gentlemen who are stepping out. They're Tabaxi. And as they kind of stop and see you in the door,
Ah, just the people we were looking for.
and that's where we're going to wrap up tonight's episode of Learn by Play. Oh, goddamn, goddamn. Oh boy.
I will mirror chat. Well played, my friend. Well played.
Oh,
Seriously.
Level 1, what do you do?
Slow clap.
Yeah, you
was awesome.
bluff the hell out of it.
I love that there's like, you don't say like why or what's going on. You're just like, I stabbed him.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, my friends, that is where we're ending tonight's episode of Learn by Play. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed our very first episode here. Season 2, we're back in the premiere. So next week we're here. I mean, we're here for the rest of conceivable time. Every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern is where you can find us over here. The Encounter Roleplay crew playing through Learn by Play. Hopefully you picked up a few tips today, a few tricks along the way. And next week we're going to get back to some more world-building tips and the action as well, of course. If you enjoyed today's show, please let us know. A round of applause to my players, of course. Excellent work, everybody. It was an amazing game. So much fun for me. I didn't have to say much throughout most of it. You guys were just doing it yourselves. So that's always the sign of a great crew. I feel like the characters bonded really well, and we've got an awesome story to tell. The next adventure will be an interesting one. If you guys enjoy us, you can find us over on Encounter Roleplay. We run almost daily Dungeons & Dragons Call of Cthulhu live streams over there. Come along, say you're from over here. You can follow us over there. There you go. I'll drop a link in chat for you guys. Twitch.tv/Encounter Roleplay. Thank you so much to Wizards of the Coast for giving us this opportunity yet again. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure to be back for the second season of Learn by Play. And yeah, thank you so much. Some people are asking, do we have YouTube? It's the same thing, youtube.com/Encounter Roleplay. And all these videos go up on a D&D YouTube channel as well a couple of days after. So if you missed any of today's sessions, you can go back and watch them in a few days' time on the D&D channel. And there's the whole first season to go back and watch as well. Some great general D&D tips in there for you guys. Let's go into cast and crew real quick. Did we enjoy ourselves? And where can we find you guys online? Tall Squall, what do you think?
I had a blast. I had an absolute blast, and my heart was about to jump out of my chest because I was like, since I missed, I mean, he had to die quick, and then we had to get him back. Then they had to leave the room quick. I was dying, but oh man, I'm so glad that worked. Level one. Oh my God. Miguel is quite the fun person to play. He is something totally new for me as a role player. So this is going to be a fun season. I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Tosco. An amazing job. Miguelaboo is certainly trending there in chat.
Miguelaboo.
Amazing. And Tosco, you've got a Twitter we can follow you on as well.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, you can follow me, all the things I do on social media. The easiest way to find me is by either just searching Tall Squall or go to @TallSquall on Twitter. On my pinned post, I have links to all the other things that I do. And I can't wait to see y'all next week and around the interwebs. Say you found me on Learn by Play.
Beautiful. Sydney.
Yeah, I was brought to tears so many times. I feel like that was so funny. Like Chelsea and I kind of built these characters together, and I thought that they were gonna be super serious and have this super sweet relationship, and it came out so funny. But I'm so glad, and I cannot wait for next week. I can't believe it's over. I feel like we've only been sitting here for 5 minutes, but whatever. See you next week. In the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter here. I'll link it in chat. It's @Sydneyak, and you can also check out my podcast, Wonder Quest, and I'll link the Twitter for that as well.
Greg.
Oh, I had a great time, man. It's the easiest thing for me to say is great cast, great people, great DM, great chat. Grimjack21502 on Twitch and Twitter. I'll see you next week. I got the best seat in the house, everybody. I'll be talking in chat. Let's do it next week.
Amazing. And Chelsea.
Yeah, I had an extraordinarily good time, if you couldn't tell. I agree with Sid. Things got a little derailed from, I think, what both of us expected, but obviously we had a blast. So if you like what I'm putting down, you can check me out over on my Twitter, which is little_red_dot, and you can find all the many things that I do in the D&D world there between Encounter Roleplay and my podcast.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a blast to be back on the season premiere of Learn by Play, reinventing the realms. Cannot wait to do some more of that next week with you guys. But until next time, try not to roll too many nat ones because we want to be here laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Farewell.